Hello and welcome to the Graveyard Media Podcast, episode 50 for the week of July 23rd, 2018. I'm your host as always, Saine Grey. With me is Dalsson
Hello.
and Thel.
None of the information has changed. Fuck
This is
you,
only like
okay.
half full. I didn't get to fill it up. One of these days I'll have a full cup. I will come prepared with a cup that has actual water in it that I can drink out of at some point.
I see. What episode is this?
Episode 50. I said that.
Which we would be more excited for, but we're all tired.
Nah, I'm not
Hooray!
tired. I'm not tired at all.
Oh, you're just dying in the heat.
Actually melting. I'm pretty sure it is 102 degrees inside of my house and
Jesus.
hotter outside. So we'll have fun with this.
Yeah.
Whiner.
Dull.
Yes.
Shut up. It's because
What?
you live in Arizona doesn't mean things aren't hard elsewhere.
I live in a basement, which is basically at
Lucky
like
you.
the base of a cliff. So I have like an entire house and a cliff blocking me. So here is cool, but everywhere else is not.
Lucky
Sounds
you.
unfortunate.
Why don't you start
Yes.
and tell us about what video games you've played and movies?
Video games. I don't know shit about that. I don't fucking play video game. I watched a movie though.
Oh, okay.
I did actually play some video games, but I want to talk about the movie first. And I want to start out by making a call out to all of those motherfuckers out there right now, right on this very minute, who are looking at the internet and looking at all this shit, looking at all the stuff about San Diego Comic-Con that came out, and they're looking at it and they're going, they just don't make movies that are good anymore. This is all the movies that come out now are bad and remakes and sequels. And there are a bunch of types of movies. They couldn't make movies anymore. Like Cronenberg, they couldn't do anything like that. Well, fuck you. Now you don't even have the excuse of they're not playing in the theaters anymore because I saw this motherfucker in our goddamn basic ass fucking tiny theater that only plays the superhero movies so it can stay afloat. I saw a movie called Sorry to Bother You. This movie was wonderful.
Oh yeah, I've seen this movie.
Is straight up there with like my it might be it's definitely in the running for favorite movie of the year. It's up head to head against Annihilation. Like this was some good shit.
What's it about?
No.
Because I haven't heard of it.
It's about an African American who is hired on to the police to infiltrate the KKK.
You're thinking of Black Klansman. It is not Black Klansman. This is
Oh.
a completely different movie. And the thing is, I am not going to tell you guys what the plot of this movie is at all because of the fact this is a movie that you need to go into blind. This is not the kind of movie that you want to go into knowing anything about it.
Does anybody see it? How does anybody know that they should see it?
What? Because
How
people
does
it's
anybody know
good.
that the movie exists?
What?
How did you know the movie exists?
Because it was recommended to me by multiple people, including FlashGen.
How did those people know the movie exists? How do you go into a movie completely blind, knowing absolutely nothing about it?
Because everyone's been working really, really hard not to say anything. Everyone who's told me about it has basically been like, this movie is a fucking trip. It is a fucking ride. You're gonna be off your fucking ass.
But what my
Well,
question
I'm gonna read the
is
synopsis
how-
anyway.
Okay. How did
Okay.
they advertise this movie?
Well, it's
Well,
an
you can
indie
read
film,
the
so they
synopsis,
didn't.
But I'll put it this way, it's not gonna really help. Like, the synopsis won't tell you anything about it either. Because I'm looking
That's
at
fine.
a synopsis, and it says, in an alternate present-day version of Oakland, a black telemarketer, Cassius Green, discovers a magical key to professional success.
That's helpful enough. Now I know what the movie's about. Kind of.
Well,
He
That's
soon
not what
falls
the
under a
movie is
spell
about.
of Steve Lift, a cocaine-snorting CEO who offers him a salary beyond his wildest dreams.
that is also not what the movie is about.
Well, that's
Okay,
fine.
well, what's the movie
I wanted
about,
to
then?
know. I wanted to
the
know
thing,
what
I'm
the
not
movie
going to
was
tell
about.
you. You have to see the movie. It's like a Cronenberg
If
movie.
you
It's
tell
like asking
me
what's
what,
fucking
if you
Videodrome
don't give me
about.
even a basic idea of what the movie is, I'm not gonna see it.
Okay.
And that's what I was saying. Like,
Well, that's the weirdest
That's how
thing.
a lot of people are.
Okay, but
why did anyone see this movie ever? in the first place. If that's how the movie is meant to be advertised, is not.
So you guys just go into movies just fucking knowing everything about it? You don't want to go into them blind?
No, but
Really?
I go into a movie knowing that this is about Thanos and he needs to collect the Infinity Stones, and that's all I know about it. But
I go into a movie knowing what genre it is at the very least.
Well, that's the thing. This movie is sort of like, it's hard to fit into a genre.
is it like a psychological horror type thing?
In
Is it
some parts
like a dark fantasy?
it's sort of like a dark comedy.
Okay.
Well, anyway, what's important with an art form is how it makes you feel. And this movie
Right.
was incredibly effective with everything it did. One thing I will say about it is, remember RoboCop's sort of like its backdrop?
Mm-hmm.
Its whole like 80s corporate thing. There's a lot of that in this movie. It's like that, but with a little bit of Cronenberg thrown in. It's a lot of fun while still being incredibly fucked up. It balances this great tone of horribly depressing, incredibly fucked up to a lot of fun and almost lighthearted, which are two tones that you would think would really, really contrast each other, but I was sitting in this movie watching it, I was like, wow, this is really fucked up. This is some fucked up shit going on. But I came out of the theater like, wow, that was a lot of fun. I'm glad I went to see that movie. And it's not like, like the ending just like picked it up or anything. It's like it ends on a little bit of a sour note too, but like it balances tone so incredibly well that it's surprising. Boots Riley has really fucking made something here. Boots Riley has busted some shit out with this. And this is really weird because this is the man's like first movie ever. Like this is the first thing he has ever done.
Okay, I was gonna ask who is Boots Riley.
Yeah. And nobody knew until this shit came out. Apparently he's a man who dresses like it's the 70s, and after watching this movie, it's like, yeah, okay, that looks like the man who directed this fucking movie. That surprises me 0%. So yeah. Go fucking see this movie. It's incredible. It is some fucking shit. This is it. You motherfuckers want good movies? You motherfuckers get good movies. Sorry to bother you is those fucking good movies. And it's playing at a local theater near you. If it's playing at this theater, then you can probably find it.
All right.
Closest theater to me that's playing it is 50 miles away.
Really?
Yep.
Shit. Maybe my theater just got lucky with it.
Yeah, I think so.
Darn. Well, anyway about it, if you can find it, it is more than worth it. It's definitely one of, if not the best movie that's come out this year. It's one of the most creative and inventive movies that I've seen in a very long time. It is some good shit. I seriously cannot praise this movie enough. I fucking loved it. So yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
What?
I don't see movies.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
Yeah, this is one of the ones that I'm actually gonna make you watch.
Well, then I'll see it eventually, I suppose.
Yeah. I'm gonna tie you and Megan to a post and force you to watch this fucking thing. It's gonna be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look forward to that.
I played a little bit more of Darkest Dungeon and actually got into it, and then found out what everyone found out about it is that when you get into it, it's really, really addicting and fun to play.
Okay, why?
It's really fun to play because of the fact that it's what is it about it? What was that thing that I was going to say about it? It has that sort of XCOM thing going on, which is really good for sucking you in because it gives you like things to do and reasons to go constantly on more runs for upgrades and stuff. So it's got that good cocaine stuff going into your nose,
dangerous.
making you come in. Even though it's a very, very dangerous to go out with people and you're afraid that they'll die. But then again, if you don't go out with people, they won't level up, and you want them to level up. It's got a bunch of those, like, it's got, like, you know, a ton of progression, a lot of stuff that you got to watch out for, a lot of reasons to go in and to keep coming back and to keep building on top of what you have without, like, the ticking time bomb of XCOM. Yeah. So it's got a lot of that, and of course the gameplay is really, really tense. It's always really, really tense. Like, whenever you end up in a combat, you're like, oh, fuck. And when good shit goes right, it feels good. When shit goes wrong, it feels bad.
So did you play with any of the DLC?
No, I did not.
I think you played with some of it because you had the shield breaker, you said.
Oh, okay, yeah, I did.
But you didn't have the you didn't have the.
I have like the 2 characters that you have. I just played it on your family sharing.
Well, then you should have had the blood DLC too.
Yeah, but you don't necessarily see that unless you go to the Crimson Court.
That's true. Yeah, the Crimson Court. So you didn't play
in
the Crimson Court.
DLCs.
I don't think you're supposed to go to the Crimson Court before going to the first place.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I have been really hesitant to get into Darkest Dungeon because it seems kind of treadmill-y. I don't know. Like, it seems like kind of a grind to me.
My problem that keeps me from getting into it is I get too attached to my characters, and like I didn't really have this problem in XCOM. Is that like I would name somebody a character, and I would I just like I had it a little bit. I was like, oh no, that person died. I got to restart the mission. But then eventually I was able to just say, fuck it. That person's not super important, right? I can live without him. But in Darkest Dungeon, I name all of my characters, and this is my big mistake, and I know this is my problem. I name all my characters after either my friends or my own characters or my friends' Dungeons and Dragons characters, and then I'm like, oh no, I can't believe Daisy died. I quit. I give up. And then I just don't play it again. And then by the time I get interested in playing it again, it's like, well, it's been 6 months since I've last played this game. I might as well restart. And as a result, I never make any progress in Darkest Dungeon at all.
Darkest Dungeon is one of those games that's always been on my list of games that I know that I should play, but I basically never will play it because I'm not interested at it from the look of it, I guess. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Like, I know that I might end up liking the actual gameplay of it, but just something about the aesthetic and the way that people have talked to me about it just turns me off. I don't know. That aesthetic is interesting for what it is, but it's gross. Yeah, and it's not something I want to stare at.
Okay.
Yeah, well.
I mean, the aesthetic, that's just one, I'm not saying it's a bad aesthetic. I'm just saying I don't like it. Like,
right.
So, it may be cool or whatever, but I think it looks gross. So.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Mike Mignola, so needless to say, it was the aesthetic that made me play this game.
Yeah, one of the things that I think is so good about Darkest Dungeon is that all of the like as a piece of art, all of the pieces fit so well together. The music gives this droning just sensation of dread. The announcer, when like one of your characters gets all hopeful, the announcer is very upbeat, and he'll say, he'll like tell you, yes, this is the time. Now is the time to strike. Go defeat the dungeon. And just all of the little bits, the announcer and the music and the art and the animations, they all work so well together.
Your characters get
the little,
it's not very much, but it's just enough to make them endearing, which is nice.
Exactly. Yeah.
And how they can all end up with like.
But that said, the gameplay, it doesn't turn me off. It just it's one of those things, like you have to know what you're like, exactly what you're doing. And every time I restart the game, I forget exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. So
I restarted the game, like, there was a point where I just basically ended up with no money in one of my games. I was like, well, I can't really do anything. So then I restarted the game, and then it was like, oh, right. Now I know I have to bring these specific things to this specific dungeon. Right. I shouldn't have played on the hardest difficulty. That was stupid. Because I didn't know the game.
Yeah, and that's another thing that's kind of made me like wary of it, because everyone that I heard about it from has said that they had to restart at some point to like be able to even play it, and that's not something that feels like a waste of my time.
Yeah, that's what I don't like about it. Like, I restart because I forget what I'm doing, and I'm like, maybe I had a good run, I don't remember, and so I just restart. But the thing about Darkest Dungeon is, like, you could play for hours and you have 4 characters die, and then you're left with 3 characters and no money. And so you're flat out fucked. Also, your low level characters or your high level characters die, but oops, your dungeons are also high level. There's literally no way that you can level up new characters if all of your high level characters are dead, because the low level characters can't challenge the dungeons. So eventually there gets to be a point in the game where you can't get new characters, and if you lose characters, they're just dead. You can revive them, I think, with a rare event, but
yeah, I don't know. There's
also,
something
you can
about
level up your characters to have like to start at higher levels. You can level up your
really?
thing to do that, and also you can.
I don't think you could last time I played.
Really.
Yeah.
Also, the thing with like the only reason I had to restart was because I did something that was stupid. This is like I said, with unlike XCOM, I don't feel like you're going to be restarting yearly as much. It is not like anywhere next to like the XCOM's okay, I'm fucked now. Like the only reason I was
here's the
fucked is
thing:
because
I
ran out of
have
money.
never finished a game of XCOM
Yeah,
or
neither
played
have I.
more than one game of XCOM. So, like, once I got to a point where I didn't feel like I was progressing, I stopped playing it.
Right.
And it's the same thing with this. Like, I'm not. It just feels like I don't know. There's something about I would rather the game either be designed in that runs don't matter and you can just quit and start over, like in, you know, roguelikes and
yeah, like Dead Cells or Gungeon.
yeah, Gungeon. Like if I'm in the middle of a run and I like don't remember what I was doing, I can just trash it and start over and it's fine.
Yeah.
Games that are like heavily progression based, which is how Darkest Dungeon sounds, the last thing I want to do is get to a point where I can't progress anymore and have to start over.
Yeah.
Because then it feels all of the time I spent progressing was a waste.
Right.
And I feel like I mean, I don't really know because I haven't played it, but that sounds like bad design. I feel like there should be some recourse if you're in that position.
Right. Some way to get out.
And there pretty much is. With Darkest Dungeon, there actually is. Like that again, that was my problem with XCOM. What you can do is you can do partial runs. You can send people into like a really high level dungeon, do like
that's
one
true.
combat, and then have them leave. Especially if things are getting like really bad, like you have one of your guys die, everyone's like going insane, and shit's going up the wall. You can just fucking leave. Plus, you can leave combats.
There didn't used to be an option to run from combat either.
Oh.
So it seems like there's just a whole bunch of new options that I don't know about. Even if they were there last time I played, they weren't there the first time I played, so I never knew about them and it didn't teach me. So I just assumed that you couldn't do that. I know you could leave dungeons,
I actually didn't
but
know
I
I
didn't
couldn't leave combats
fights.
until the second playthrough.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
When you played it, Dalsson, was it still in early access or was this post-release?
When I first played it, it was in early access. I played it for a long time in early access, and I have played it since release. I played it last time I played it, I think, was when the Crimson Court DLC came out. Yeah.
That was still kind of a while though.
Yeah,
ago, though.
Exactly. It was a while ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably should play it. I have it. I own it. It's even installed, I think. I don't know.
It's good. I mean, I would say at least give it a try.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like I have Crimson Court. I don't have the other DLCs.
Yeah. The other DLCs are just like characters, so.
There's a new one that just came out.
Oh, really?
Color of Madness.
More than that. Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
This one yeah, I remember this one just coming out.
Right.
Or maybe it came out around the time the Switch release came.
I think it came out around the time E3 came out because it was sort of getting big around that time. Because I
I don't
remember
know.
I wanted.
I haven't heard anything new about Darkest Dungeon other than just the normal noise I hear about Darkest Dungeon. So I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I'll give it a shot eventually, but I have like a million games on my 2 playlist, and that one doesn't, I don't know, speak to me.
Fair enough.
Any other games?
Well, there's the one that we all played, but should I wait for that one?
Yeah, why don't we wait for that one?
Yeah, well, let's
Okay.
wait for that one, Eddie.
How about you, Dalsson? Looks like
Well-
all you've played is Warframe this week.
Actually all I've played is Enter the Gungeon this week. So
Oh, we're gonna talk about that later.
Oh!
Oh?
Why don't we talk real briefly about Paladin's Realm Royale?
Oh no!
We played that.
It was okay. I think I liked it a little bit more than you guys, and my feelings on it was okay.
My feelings on it were it wasn't Fortnite. I liked it better than Fortnite.
Okay.
You could shoot things.
I still haven't played Fortnite. I'm making a fucking spoiler alert for the end of this. I'm making a video about Battle Royale video games. I ain't even played Fortnite yet. I've been slacking. I've been working on the video. I ain't even got all the footage I need. The fuck?
Yeah.
I have
I'm
like 30% of it.
Yeah, my issue with it was not that I didn't like it so much as there's no reason to play it.
Yeah, fair enough. That's kind of where I am too.
It's like its revenue model is identical to Fortnite, and it's one of those things where if you're going to get into a game like that, you might as well get into the most popular one.
Yeah.
In that cartoony style, if that's what you're going to it for.
Yeah.
So like I feel like there's no reason to play Realm Royale over Fortnite if I don't know, if you can handle the gunplay and building in Fortnite.
Yeah,
or play
that
PUBG. Like those, I don't know.
That's fair. I feel like that's specifically the reason that someone would want to play it. That's the reason that I enjoyed Realm Royale more than Fortnite, is because the guns feel like they are effective. They don't feel like they're, real monster guns like in PUBG, but it's cartoony. What do you want? It's supposed to be a little arcadey. But the guns feel like, you can aim them and not just spray bullets and hope you hit somebody in the head by accident out of your dick.
I don't know. I feel like even more than Paladins, the game it was based on, or the game it started as being based on.
Sort of, yeah.
It's even more off-brand than Paladins was to me.
Yeah.
Because at least Paladins had some interesting character designs and some different things going on, and the maps were kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But like this game is just a worse version of other battle royale games I've played.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's basically just Fortnite without the building and with better guns. Not good, better.
But
guns.
Here's another thing that really annoyed me. The biggest differentiator, I think, for this game is it has like armor pickups and stuff and different levels of armor. But I feel like that's worse because, Fortnite doesn't have that.
Oh, okay.
Fortnite has different guns.
Fortnite has it sort of does. It has potions that you can drink that give you shields.
Okay.
Right. But I mean, this game has those like different potions and abilities that do the same thing and armor. So what ends up happening is you start off squishier than in most like battle royale games, and you end the game spongier than in most battle royale games. And it just feels bad on both ends. It feels like either you get killed immediately, and there's nothing you can do about it in the early game, both enemies and you, or by the time you get to the end game, it's like you literally aren't doing any damage to people, even with guns on the same level as their armor. So it just it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to play.
Right.
It's true.
Keep in mind, we've only played like
I probably won't
like
play it
3 hours
again.
of it.
I probably won't play it again, honestly. But I can say definitively that I enjoyed the small amount of time that I played this more than I enjoyed the somewhat larger amount of time that I played Fortnite.
Right.
I don't know. It's a different kind of bad for me. I actively disliked Fortnite. Like, I
Right.
actually, by the end of Fortnite, I was pissed off at Fortnite. This game, I just didn't care. By the end,
Yeah.
it was so mediocre and boring, I lost interest. So,
Yeah,
And that's the
just like-
thing. Welcome to high res.
Yeah, sounds like
well,
high-res.
I could have played more Paladins if you guys liked it more, but
And we
I wasn't
played Smite
gonna
for
play
a
it on my
long
own.
time, so
And Smite's good. Smite's the best game that Hi-Res has ever
I
made.
agree, but I feel like they're still going to abandon it once they find another cash cow. Like
That
if
game still
Paladins
makes
had-
money. That game
If
still makes too
Paladins
much
had
money.
done good, though, they would have totally abandoned Smite. If this game does, if their Realm Royale does good, they'll totally abandon Paladins.
I don't think so, because I think that Smite still makes too much money.
It's true.
Even if they got another
MOBAs
game that made
and
more
they're,
money
like-
than Smite, Smite would still make enough money to warrant them to invest in Smite. The problem
That's
with other
true.
games like Tribes and stuff is they were the way that they tried to make money off of that game made the game worse, which pushed people away, which made them make less money. So they're like they abandoned it because they already poisoned their own well. And the
Right.
benefit of Smite is it has the same monetary system or monetization scheme as other MOBAs, and people are accepting of that monetization
That's
scheme.
true.
So
Plus, a lot of the money that they make from Smite is from tournaments too, like
yeah,
mini MOBAs. A lot of MOBAs are like that's the esports genre, MOBA and RTS. So people talk
I don't
about-
think they'll ever abandon Smite unless something happens. Like they do something that poisons their own well so bad that everybody leaves, mass exodus. I don't
they
see.
are good at doing that.
They are good at doing that.
I mean, it's true, but so far they've managed to keep it going. So unless they do something really stupid, I don't see them abandoning it anytime soon.
yeah. That's fair.
They have among MOBAs, they have one of the better monetization schemes actually. So
Mhm.
Which is the most surprising thing I've ever
Yeah, that
heard
is
in my
it's
life.
kind of strange. Yeah.
it's pretty funny.
And it's not because it's good, it's because everyone else is bad.
Well,
Well,
I don't know.
no,
Aside from
it's-
Dota, I think Dota is
Oh, okay.
undeniably the best monetization scheme, and their monetization scheme is it's free.
Well, except for they have loot boxes.
That's true.
And the way that
It
I
doesn't
don't know
tease
if they've
you,
added. They may have added loot boxes to Smite for all I know, but
They probably did.
but the nice thing about Smite's monetization system is, in addition to having the normal like you earn points that you can spend on characters, you could also just buy them all at once with the God Pack.
Yeah.
That's always been a limited time offer that's never gone away in all of the years
Yeah.
Smite has been around.
Yeah,
And
then you just have all of the gods. What they said was you would have all of the gods up until it went out of beta. And when it went out of beta, it was like you just get all of the gods for free. Period.
yeah, you
We
just
make
buy
enough
it.
money off of tournaments and skins. Just have it. $20 every character.
It's not. It's like $40, but it goes on sale often.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then the other thing they do is during tournament seasons they have like a tournament
Like a battle
thing.
pass.
Yeah, it's
Dota.
very similar to how Dota does their like lore things.
And then
I
that's
forget
what
it's
they
called.
use for the prize pool is the
Right. That's how they raise money for the
the
prize pool.
tickets.
So the more people buy into that thing, the bigger the prize pool gets. So it's kind of I don't know. That stuff is actually like I'm surprised that Hi-Res has been able to make it so good without making it feel like exploitative at all. And
Yeah.
it's just bizarre. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
But
I have to say about Smite, I don't know how well I know how we got from Realm Royale to Smite, but I do have to say about Smite, like every single time we pick up Smite, whoever the newest character is undeniably the best character in the game.
that's
They
not
release a
true.
new character
Sometimes they're
every-
garbage.
Occasionally, but I feel like they try to whereas like
I just don't think
people
they're very.
accuse League of
I
Legends
don't
of doing that.
I don't think it's intentional. I think they're just bad at balancing it without seeing it in normal play. Like I just don't. I don't know. I'm not convinced that they do that. And people say the same thing about League of Legends, and I didn't really think it was the case in League of Legends either.
I feel like in League of Legends, most of the characters that they release are bad when they release them.
Yeah, it does seem like they seem to err on the side of caution after a few bad incidents, but
Fucking
weak releases out, stuff like that.
No, it was like release hours in Zhao.
Anyway.
They were like, "Oh my god, press the button, shut down everything."
So why don't we talk about? I'm gonna talk about Tales of Rosaria for like a second.
Okay.
Before we head into Gungeon. Syria. So I've been playing more of this game. It's pretty much been the only game that I've been playing this week, other than Gungeon, and it's really holding up to, like, people say it's one of the best Tales games, which is high praise because there's some really good Tales games, and it's just been consistently good throughout. The thing that's kind of weird about it, as far as RPGs go, though, is there are no side quests in it. The closest thing they have to side quests, and they mention side quests, like, they say side quests occasionally, but what they mean is, like, you can go to specific places to have conversations. Like,
So it's not like a side quest, like go and kill this boss, this optional boss. It's like
there
a side
are
quest, like...
there are the one exception is they have optional bosses.
Okay.
They have this character that's like a bounty. It's like a bounty guild, I guess. And they do like different things. And one of the things they do is they offer you money to go track down specific like red alert versions of monsters. And you can get like bounties for those.
Right.
But other than that, like, it is one of the most linear RPGs I've ever played. Which is not bad. It's just interesting. In a way, it's like really nice because it's like all killer and no filler.
Right.
All of the characters are really interesting in it. I don't know. Like, this is just one of the best RPGs I've ever played so far. Action combat systems kind of people like it, but it's not amazing.
Okay.
It feels sort of fighter-esque. One of the things that like you have to do in this game, which kind of annoys me, is it's sort of like a spectacle fighter, right? Except you have like ability chains on all 4 buttons. So if you're playing with controller, like Y will have 4 different abilities on it, and you have like a bank of abilities that you can put the abilities in any order.
Okay.
So there's a lot of customization in terms of how you want to order your abilities, but
So it works kind of like the way that Terra wanted to work, where it's like, oh, put 5 abilities on your one button and just smash the one
that's
button,
even it's Terra's even worse than that. Like,
okay.
It's more like this is a sweep kick ability.
Okay.
And then you can chain it into like a backflip kick ability. And then you like each ability does like, you know, it has a chance to do a kind of status effect. And it might have it be strong against a particular kind of monster. But it's like it's one of those things that's like needlessly complicated. I would rather them just give me a like designed like spectacle fighter combat system rather than me trying to have to put kind of cookie cut abilities together and kind of see how well it works. So what I've kind of done,
why not, if I want to do the sweep kick, why not make me press XXY? Like,
yeah, well, yeah, and that's the other thing. Like, so you have a chains on every button. So if you can set it up so all you have to do is mash A, so you can hit A 4 times. Or at any time you can jump into the other combo as it would be in progress. So you can go like XXYY, right?
Right.
And then it would give you the 2 endpoints of YY rather than giving you a different ability for pushing XXY, it would be the same third ability if you push YYY, which is kind of like not as good, right?
Right, exactly.
There is some benefits. Like what I've kind of done is on my A skill, I've made it so all of my stun abilities are on A, so I can just mash A to get a stun, which stuns are very good in Tales of Berseria.
Understandable.
And then all my aerial attacks are on Y, so I can just mash Y when there's air enemies around.
Right.
So it's okay, and it works, and it's fine. I don't know. I would rather them have a design spectacle fighter system in it, or just give me a traditional turn-based like RPG system, or even ones like similar to some of the other games in the series that are more like that. I don't know. It's fine. It's just very okay, you know? And that's probably like my biggest complaint with it.
Right.
Very fun. I'm probably going to continue playing it, but this might be the last time I talk about it unless something amazing happens.
Okay.
Story's really good though.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Why don't we go into Enter the Gungeon now?
Okay. So, I think I may have been the first one to pick up Enter the Gungeon, like when it came out.
I think I picked it up right away too, which is sad because I don't like the game very much.
All right. Well, the way that I felt about it was it just wasn't really fun. So take a similar game, right? Binding of Isaac. When you go into Binding of Isaac,
Nuclear Throne,
or even Nuclear Throne, but
much
Binding
more
of
Nuclear
Isaac,
Throne. That's like way closer.
No, Binding of Isaac is way closer. Nuclear Throne has a bunch of guns you can use up to like 17, whereas both Binding of Isaac and Enter the Gungeon, this is the point that I'm making, have like 150 quadrillion items.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So in Isaac, in say in your first floor in Isaac, you'll get a guaranteed item, and then there's other things that might drop other items that can power you up more. In Enter the Gungeon, upon release, you got one chest in a floor. That was it. You might be able to buy something from the shop if you're lucky enough to make the money. But you got one chest.
Well, that's
usually,
you were either expected to make the money or just find the chest and immediately brush.
They didn't when on release. There wasn't enough money to buy a gun consistently.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. There wasn't enough money because they never dropped anything. They never dropped money. They hardly ever dropped hearts. They almost never dropped ammo, and they definitely, despite touting how many guns were in the game, never gave you guns. If you open that chest and it was not a new gun, you basically might as well have restarted because you need a new gun before you get a new passive skill, like for sure. Now it is guaranteed
without a new gun.
Yeah, but it's 10 times as hard because it takes 10 times as long.
Also, you can't find secret rooms without a gun that has like a gun that has ammo.
You can't find secret rooms, which is important. So
half the characters start
now they've essentially
all of the guns, all of the starting guns say they can't be used to find secret rooms specifically.
Yeah.
Well, the starting guns, okay.
Yeah, I think the ranger with a crossbow can find secret rooms, and that's it.
And the convict with a shotgun?
And the convict has a shotgun, yeah.
Yeah, so half the characters have.
Yeah, but, you know.
Are you sure? I'm not sure that the crossbow could.
I don't remember. It has ammo.
Also, no, the crossbow doesn't have ammo.
Yeah, the crossbow has ammo.
It does now. I don't think.
No, the crossbow always had ammo.
Really? Well.
Yes, straight up always had ammo.
Well, either way, my point is that now with this new update, which is the reason that all three of us played it, is called Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and essentially they added a bunch of stuff to the game, and they also basically doubled the drop rate of everything, including making it so that every floor has 2 guaranteed chest rooms. Now, of course, you need keys to open the chest and this and that and blah, 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 but you know, that is what it is. Like, if you get, like, 2 chest rooms is much, much better because you have the chance of getting a cool passive and a new gun that will be better than your starter revolver that everybody has, basically. They all have a different revolver, but they all do the same thing.
Pretty
so,
much.
So having that extra gun or that extra passive ability will help you to clear the rooms faster. It'll help you beat the first boss faster. Like just and they've become a lot less stingy with the drops of money and the drops of health. Like you can just actually
more
kind of
incentive to actually like
they
explore any of the floors, because it used to be like, okay, I want to rush to the chest and then I want to get to the boss room as quickly as I can. But in this, it's like, okay, have I explored all of the floors yet? Because then I can get some more money, which I can use to like buy keys to open more chests. Or I can probably clear this room and it'll probably drop something, maybe even a gun.
Made the game easier, but they made it easier in a good way. They didn't make it easier, like more forgiving. They made it easier, like they just became less stingy with all of their drops. And that makes the game more fun, regardless of difficulty. They could have upped the health and damage of everything too. I wouldn't have cared, but it's more fun to be able to experience all of these like combinations of items that they say, oh, synergies are really cool, or all of these.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's your opinion. Now I'm going to give mine.
Okay,
go ahead.
They have the new DLC and it fixed fucking nothing for me.
Why?
I'm going to say why, obviously.
Well, you tell me to say why every time I say something. I mean, the reason.
Yeah, but you don't. The reason I tell you why is because then you end the sentence. I wasn't done.
Okay, go ahead.
So, yes, they give you more keys for chests and stuff, right? And I did get more guns and whatever. Here's my issue with it. There's so much trash items in the game that it doesn't getting a second chest per level really doesn't help that much.
I've never gotten a trash item.
I got an item called Vote Ballot, and it literally did nothing. It was a piece of paper that says you voted.
Yeah, I got that a couple times.
Really?
I got a gun that is like an Uzi. And it's like...
Uzis are really good, especially if you get up in their face and sort of do the thing.
But here's the thing, though. Like, this game is supposed to have all of these interesting creative weapons. And in the time that I played, I got a shotgun and an Uzi.
Apparently the voting ballot increases your coolness, which increases the chance of an item dropping when you clear a room. So...
Well,
it does
whatever.
Something, but it has no, like, I didn't know it did anything either. I thought it was just literally nothing.
So it's just like they're supposed to have all of these cool different guns, and I got an Uzi, which is like super, it's just, I don't know, slightly faster fire rate, and the shotgun, which is not very useful against the boss because the boss is far away, typically.
Yeah, sometimes it sucks when you don't get when you get a gun that's not good against a boss. But that was the thing before. I felt like they had so many trash items that you could just open a chest and get a trash item, and it's like, well, that's my chest for the floor.
And I didn't like it back then, but them like increasing the weapon drop rate and more keys and whatever didn't help enough. It still didn't help enough. I think what they should actually do is cull out the boring weapons. Because as it is, I got one weapon.
Are you playing like the boss is like super far away?
I don't think that's the issue.
Because that's the thing. Playing the bosses close. It's like a Tubu game, right? It's that thing where you start out, you go like really far away, specifically so that you can dodge the bullets, and then slowly you sort of learn. Wait a second, hold on. No, what I actually have to do is follow the pattern and get in close so I can kill it faster. It's the exact same principle.
Well, it doesn't matter because there's no damage fall off, so...
There is, because a lot of times you can miss with the bullets.
Well, it depends on the gun.
Depending on your accuracy and the gun that you have, it might not matter. Like, that's why shotguns are bad.
Yeah, with the shotgun, it does matter.
That's why shotguns are bad at fighting bosses.
Shotguns are actually really good
at fighting bosses.
If listen, you use the Marine, because the Marine has a much tighter spread.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that too, and it's the same thing with the Uzis. Like the Uzis,
Uzi isn't that bad from a range. I'm good enough to hit the Uzi from a medium distance.
I don't think this is. Okay. I think you're not.
You're like arguing with specific points, and that's not even why I'm saying I don't like it. I don't like it. It's not that I don't like it because the Uzi has too much of a spread. I just don't like it because all of the weapons, like all the weapons that I had been getting, are boring. Like
you
there's
still feel
too
like
much
it was
trash.
the same problem as before.
Yeah.
essentially.
They increased the drop rate, and so, you know, maybe I feel like, you know, I got a gun, but you can go through a floor and get 2 passives and have to fight the boss with your basic weapons. And the basic weapons are all really boring too.
Yeah,
The
just
only
pop,
one,
pop,
like,
pop, pop.
my favorite character in Gungeon is the chick with a crossbow because she has 2 guns.
Yeah.
Literally,
so
that's
does
why.
The convict.
Convict has 2 guns, but
Yeah.
one's a shotgun.
Sure, but I don't like the shotguns as much. But it's I don't know, and also I'm pretty sure the crossbow is infinite ammo.
It is not at all. It has 100 shots.
I think that it. I've never run out of ammo with it, but I know it has 100 shots because you have to.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I don't know. It's just so it's I don't know. It's all of the weapons that I've gotten have just been boring, and I don't care enough to get good at it.
Right.
So
one of the things about that specific point, I think, is there is a lot of meta progression in Gungeon, like because I had played it for long enough, like quite a while before I decided I just really don't like it because it never gives you anything. I had a lot of stuff unlocked already, and then once with this new update, it started giving me stuff, and I already had a bunch of fun things unlocked.
I unlocked a bunch of guns too, except all of the guns that I unlocked from the store that I found, I guess, were all, you know, AK-47, RPG. So I don't know. It's just like the game talks about how it has all these crazy guns, and if you watch the trailer, there's all sorts of interesting guns, and the ones that they fucking give you are Uzi. It's and then that's if you happen to get it. Like I had a run where I played the dude with the lockpick, so I didn't have to worry about necessarily using up all my keys
often, yeah.
And all I got was passives that run, and then I had to fight the boss with a pistol.
Right.
And it's like it's a game that's difficult and takes practice, but the runs feel so unrewarding that I just don't want to play it. So I had more fun with Isaac.
Really?
And Isaac, I had issues with because I played the old Flash version, and I'm pretty sure it ran like trash on my PC at the time.
Okay, yeah.
But that's really I don't know why. It felt like the frame rate was bad or something in Isaac, but yeah, like Gungeon is just really boring to me. I put in 0.7 hours this week. I couldn't even play it for a full hour. It was just too boring.
So you didn't play it long enough that you could get any good guns.
Well, I mean,
played like 4
I've
runs.
I've gotten guns in the first. I've gotten good guns in the first floor.
Yeah,
pretty often.
Yeah. And like, how many hours have you put into it, Dalsson?
I don't know, like
he put in 9.
Yeah, I
9
put in something like that too. Basically,
no, you didn't. You put in 3.
Oh, I did. Oh, I only put in 3, but I still got like a ton of guns. Like,
yeah, I think you're kind of having bad luck too. Is part of the issue. Because I get a decent gun at least once every.
Yeah.
Every time.
I don't know. The Uzi is a decent gun. I got this
one
that had a
decent gun. I mean, like something that's fun, like a missile launcher that shoots bees. Like that's really fun.
I've never gotten a fun gun. Then I guess. And like, the runs just feel so unrewarding that I'm not interested in getting good at it. I guess
trying to keep going, yeah.
Because it takes practice to be able to kill the bosses that have big Toho waves of bullets. And I just don't. I'm not interested.
Right. I think it's fair enough. Like, if you're not interested in the game, you're not interested in the game. And I don't think your points are necessarily wrong. Like, if you keep getting shafted on the guns you're getting, you know, like, it sucks. Because that is the fun part of the game, is all of the crazy guns and combinations of items you can get and stuff.
Like, when you make games that are like roguelikes like that, or roguelites like this, you have to be careful not to put in too much trash. Yeah, even among games similar to this, I think this is the worst one.
I think that's being a little harsh on it. I think it's probably
Yeah, and
my
you just said like the
favorite
Uzi
out
wasn't
of it.
necessarily trash.
Well, I don't know why you were stuck on the Uzi, dude. What is it about the Uzi? He's saying
That's
that
like
as an
the
example.
you mentioned 2 guns. I have like even in just 3 hours of playing, I have run into so many interesting.
Because I got the Uzi twice.
Jesus.
And the other time I got a
I've
shotgun.
ever had the same gun twice.
And the other time I got a shotgun, and the other time I got a gun that like did less damage the emptier the clip got, and when you reloaded it, it made Jack in the Box sounds. Yes. So like
I killed a boss with that one. I had to keep reloading every 3 shots.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say. Like
I don't want you to say anything. I think it's fine that you don't like it.
I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm saying it's bad.
Oh, that's not fine. I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But I don't know.
Well, what do you like about it, though?
What I like, well, it's pretty much like I have the exact opposite experience with you. I have had nothing but a lot of fun. The boss fights are incredibly creative, not only just in like their designs and the whole.
I think the best part of the game is the boss fights. I think the bosses are all interesting.
They all have like really interesting attacks, interesting attack patterns.
I disagree with that. Really? I think all of the attack patterns are just copied from the same Tohu boss. They all have that one where you have to wiggle back and forth diagonally. Literally every single boss in the game has that attack where they stand still and they shoot out bullets in a checkerboard pattern.
I'd honestly rather just play Toho.
Every single boss
doesn't have that. Neither do Bullet Twins.
Okay, but
neither does Amoconda.
Amoconda definitely has it. Bullet King has it.
Bullet King definitely has it, but most of them do.
Oh wait, no, Bullet King. No, sorry. Bullet King definitely does have it. Did I say Bullet King? I meant Gatling Gull.
Gatling Gull doesn't, but he's a fucker for a different reason. It's not every single boss, but a majority. Like Beholster has it. Amoconda definitely does have it. You may not have gotten it. The Medusa lady has it. The Bullet King has it.
I also
Bullet
seem
King,
to, for whatever reason, I seem to get the Bullet King every time. Too.
I know I've already won the boss if I get Trigger Twins.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
the easiest.
I mean, they're straight up the easiest one for the first floor.
I got Trigger Twins once, and the rest of the time that I played, I got the Bullet King.
Weird.
Yeah. This last time I tried to play it for like an hour.
Yeah. I also I have the exact opposite experience with you. I love the amount of guns and I love all of the guns, and it feels like no matter what gun I get, it's like time to just empty this on the boss because it'll definitely work better than the guns I have. And like 90% of the time that's right.
See,
unless I'm using the crossbow, which is also really good. Again, like the designs of all of the enemies are really interesting. The designs of the world is really interesting. The music is fun, and the gameplay is really fast and really, really rewarding.
That's another thing I like about it. Is just the world of literally everything is either a gun or a bullet.
Yeah.
Period.
Thematically, it's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so I remember Total Biscuit had talked about this game before. He really liked the game, but he had a major issue with it, which is like kind of the crux of it. He said that the problem with Gungeon is if you don't find a good gun in the first level, you might as well restart. And I felt like that's like every run for me so far.
Weird. I still think you need to put more time into it.
I put just as much time into it as you, Thel.
Oh, really? I thought you said you put like 0.3 hours. You put like
I put 0.7 this week. I put in 3 hours total.
Oh, 3 hours total. I put
in
bought it this
4
week.
hours total, but
let me explain. I've just bought it this week. Like all of the 3 hours I have in it are purely for this week.
Yeah,
like,
but that doesn't really make a difference to me though.
Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying with the updates. Like
I felt
all the previous time I had put into it, I had it on Dalsson's family sharing.
Right.
Yeah, just this week I put in 3 hours, and just this week I've seen a huge improvement. What I'm saying is put more time into it now that the update has come out.
No, Thel, you've put in 4 hours total in it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, okay.
What?
No, whatever.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel that the update does fix it. Like you said, Total Biscuit said that when if you don't get a good gun in the first chest, you might as well restart. That
No,
was
the first level.
the first level.
Yeah,
Before the first
yeah.
boss.
Well, that was
Yeah,
before
that was
first.
before.
That was before the update.
Which there was like one chest.
Except
per level.
what's kind of
That was-
happened is, again, I'm getting multiple runs where I'm getting to the boss and I have nothing to fight him with.
That's weird because one of my best runs I used purely the crossbow because of the fact that I sold my good gun so that I could get money so that I could upgrade the elevator.
You can upgrade the elevator?
Yes.
I don't think I found that guy yet. Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Oh yeah, you
another
have
thing.
to beat a boss
That's
without taking
another
damage
thing
to
you
find
wa-
him.
Oh, interesting. That's another thing. I kind of like how I think it only happens on the second floor, but you often will find keys to cells to get new prisoners, which will sell you
That also
different
happens on the
shit.
first floor.
Like I think the shop that you're it does,
I got one
Yeah,
on
I think
the first
that-
one.
the shop that you were talking about with the AK-47 and the RPG was the big orc man. All he sells is basic bitch.
No, it was the
regular
chick with
real
the
guns.
robot.
Yeah, the
Oh,
chick with the
really?
robot.
Huh,
Yeah.
weird. Yeah, I don't know though. It's yeah.
I don't know.
It's also another one of those things like
All the starting
I-
weapons are so
I put-
boring. I wish they.
I put
they-
like 600 hours into Isaac across.
I wish
those
the
two games,
characters
and-
had more variation too.
Yeah, I think you can unlock new characters.
There are two
Like, I know
unlockable
there's
characters.
okay. I know there's like a little robot character you can
Yeah,
unlock.
there's the robot and a bullet.
A bullet, of course.
Yeah, of course.
And like I'm going through the levels, and all of the enemies have cooler weapons than me. I feel like.
That's true. I was going to buy from a shop in my previous run a crown of guns, which just shoots bullets in a two-hoo pattern around you.
Oh, I've gotten that one, and it's lovely. It's wonderful.
Probably runs out of ammo instantly, but yeah, I don't know. It's like
No, it has like a shit ton of ammo.
oh weird. But it's like I find it so weird that we had such different experience.
And maybe I'm too hesitant to use some of the guns because I remember before. Like, I don't know, maybe ammo is more prevalent than it used to be too, but I remember
ammo
not
is
wanting
definitely
to
more
use guns because it would run out of ammo and I would not have ammo for the boss, so I never used anything but the starter bitch weapons for most of the game. So unless you really liked those starting weapons, you were using a lot of... I just wish the game didn't have ammo in it. It's not a thing I want to fucking pay attention to.
Yeah, it's weird because some of the stronger guns have like a ridiculous amount of ammo.
Yeah. And that's the
And-
thing.
and
It's
some of the
it's
weaker
almost
guns
to the
have,
point
like,
where
no
it
ammo.
like doesn't even need ammo really.
So it feels like they balance out the game. They try to balance out the game by making shitty guns shittier because they run out of ammo fast, and good guns gooder because they have a lot of ammo. It's weird.
Yeah, I just wish that ammo wasn't in the game, honestly. Like,
yeah.
it feels like a tacked on thing that really needs to not even be
But
there
then at the
because-
same time, it's like once you get one good gun, it's like just throw all your other guns away. So I can see why to encourage, because you have an infinite storage space for guns. So I can see
Yeah,
why they
pretty
have
much.
ammo, so that you are encouraged to sometimes have to switch your weapon.
Yeah. So you're encouraged not to use it all of the time, but just like some of the time. Like, oh, this room has like a bunch of enemies. Might as well bust out the gun.
Yeah, but what happens is you end up not using the guns that are fun because you don't have ammo.
Right.
And it, like... Or you use your good guns all the time and then have to fight the bosses with the starting weapon.
Yeah, well, that's part of the strategy. Use your less good guns on the trash enemies. And then
But
when
what
you
I'm
get something
saying is that just makes it not as much fun again.
Oh right, yeah, you're saying because
Well, there's
It just
specific
makes it
weapons
less
that are,
fun because
like-
it's like, yeah, that's a strategy and that makes sense and that is the optimal way to play it, and I do play it that way often. But it's just less fun. Less fun than just killing everything with a fun gun.
Well, that's the thing. There are some guns that are specifically built for clearing rooms, like specifically that bullet crown. That doesn't work super well against the
the
bosses.
bullet crown is fucking.
Yeah, but it does work in like especially some of the
Well,
level
I
2
think-
rooms where there's like a shit ton of guys and you want to clear the room
Well,
really, really
here's the
fast. and
thing, though.
keep going.
Here's the thing, though. I think that gun is well designed because it has a specific purpose that is not all the, like there's no reason to use that gun all the time, and having ammo or not doesn't make a difference because you would just use it when it's necessary because it has a specific purpose, and you would just not use it when you were fighting a boss.
Right.
So
Yeah, I
ammo
agree with
really like doesn't matter still.
Yeah, I agree. The ammo system in the game is it doesn't need to be there. It really doesn't. It'd be fine without it.
I don't know. Maybe you guys are right, and maybe I should put more time into it. But it's
Yeah,
I don't
maybe
know.
like I don't know, like if you go into your shop and your like credits shop and see like, oh, an earthworm gem gun, maybe that'll be fun. And then I mean, you might not necessarily get it in the run.
well, the only
Um,
credit shop I've unlocked was the one that had normal guns. So
Oh yeah, and if you buy all of those guns, eventually you unlock another group of those guns. It's
Really?
basically buy all of
There's
them.
also here's something that I unlocked recently and haven't tried to get to, or let me think. I haven't gotten to try it, but I unlocked like a bounty hunter man who gives you bounties. He was like, kill 200 basic bullets, and I'll give you something cool. So that kind of that's something I'm interested in like trying.
yeah, but that
Um,
doesn't change your playstyle at all because if you do every room
Yeah,
and
you're
every
just going to
dungeon,
kill.
you're just gonna do it or not anyway.
Yeah, for sure. I think eventually I was watching another streamer. He was like hunting specifically for a rat, which is like a secret boss. He's the little fucker that steals your shit when you leave a room and come back to it. He was hunting for that specifically. So I think eventually he'll start giving you like side bosses and stuff to hunt down, but but that's cool.
Eh. I just think that they could have made smarter decisions when they were designing the game, and I think there are better examples of games similar to this.
Hmm.
Ziggurat is a game that's it's like a first-person shooter, but it's a roguelite, and it has a much better variety in guns from the very get-go. And everyone gets the same starting gun, but you get every. I don't know if it has classes, but you always
No,
get a
they
second
definitely
gun
have
that is
classes.
like a completely unique weapon every time. So
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. It just seems like the game doesn't have enough variety for me, at least from what I've played of it, I guess.
Right.
But you could see how my problems with the game were even more compounded back when it was on release. But
Oh, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Because your
That-
problem
and again,
your
like
problems
back
with
when-
that you said with the game now were every single issue I had with it when it didn't have the extra drop rate.
yeah,
I
and
just
that's
feel like the
thing.
changes haven't been enough to fix it for me.
When I first played the game, I fell off it really hard when I played Nuclear Throne for the first time. I was like, wow, this is like Gungeon, but I actually sometimes get things, and that's great. But with this update, I'm really, really enjoying Gungeon.
Yeah, see, I like Gungeon better than Nuclear Throne now because Nuclear Throne, like, it has like what 20 guns, a bunch of characters with cool, unique powers, but like
Yeah.
20 guns.
I would say the map design in Nuclear Throne is still a little bit better. But that's because they worked really hard on that.
Yeah,
it's a
but
different
I
type of
still
gun.
contend that guns, more guns aren't necessarily better when a lot of them are trash guns.
That's true.
And I'm not even talking about just like the Uzi and like the shotgun. I'm talking about like the pea shooter and like they
And
give
the
you
pillow.
there's like
pillow gun.
specifically for on purpose bad guns. Like,
Mhm.
and that's just in a game where you already it already seems to be the case that it would be nice if you could get a good gun. That just is like insult to injury. I don't know.
Yeah. That was what a lot of people complained about when Isaac came out with that big update. They're like, you just polluted the drop table. All of this shit is trash. And it's like, that's one of the things that I find fun. like just trying to work with what you get, right? And then sometimes you'll get something really good, and that.
Yeah, but I still think that because of the design of Isaac is different in general, it doesn't work as well in this game because you're always doing a more specific thing in this game than in Isaac.
Right.
Because the way that the bosses behave tend to be more different than in Gungeon.
Right.
So I don't know. Why don't we move on?
Okay.
Actually, that's all the games.
Yeah, that's it.
I saw a movie.
Oh, which one?
Fuck, I'm not gonna get the title of this right. Hold on, let me look it up real fast.
Wow, that memorable, huh?
It was a very memorable movie. It just has a really long title.
Oh no.
Maquia, When the Promised Flower Blooms.
Huh.
It was a Japanese animated film released at Anime Festival this year. Which one was it? Oh well. So it was written and directed by Mari Okada from PA Works. Boy, was this a sad movie.
Oh boy.
And you could go into it telling that it was going to be a sad movie. So the premise of this film is there are this race of creatures that are essentially people, but they look like children. Except they age at a incredibly slow rate compared to humans.
Right.
And it's about one of the characters that gets separated from the rest of her people and adopts a human baby.
Okay.
And their time frame for how long they live is so significantly different. They don't actually explicitly say how long they could live, but the oldest character, the elder of their village, was 400 years old at the start of the movie. And does not seem like she was the oldest, but it didn't look like she was old.
She had even aged.
She was old. You could tell she was older than the rest of them because she was a foot taller.
Right.
She didn't look like a child. She looked more like an adolescent compared to the rest of them that actually still look like children. And I say children. She looked like maybe 15 or something.
Right.
And actually, that's actually appropriate because the character was also a very young character among her species. Even she was 15 years old.
Right.
Which, for a species that lives at least 500 years, because that elder character's still around at the end of the film, doesn't look any different. And the film takes place over a course of, I don't know, 60 to 80 years probably.
Okay.
Depending on how long the main character lived, or the other main character lived. Because it you could tell it was going to be a sad film because it was obvious that the main character was going to outlive the child that she raised from birth, essentially.
Right.
And it's it had some really strong moments. There was a point where one of the she was living with a family and their dog died. And the mother was basically telling her kids that dogs live a lot less than humans, and then she just broke up and just took off. She had to run away from the situation because it was she was the kind of person where everyone she was there with at that moment all would die before she would.
Yeah.
Before she would even start to be older. So it was kind of a tragic film, but very bittersweet. Even the high points of the film were grounded with this sadness. I don't know. It was even the points where they were happy, it was obvious that this is not something that would last or anything. And it's kind of like a reflection of just, you know, kind of how fast humans live and die anyway. Like even outside of this character's perspective, like humans, 80 years doesn't really feel like that long in the scheme of things, right?
Right.
I don't know. It was a really great film. It has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. I'm excited to see it. I've heard a little bit about this movie. Like, when you talked about Mary and the Witch's Flower, I actually heard a lot about that one. I haven't heard nearly as much.
This one was a lot better than Mary and the Witch's Flower.
Oh yeah. There
are only
excited
18
for it.
reviews, but
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those movies that are like might be pretty memorable to you in kind of how bittersweet it is.
Yeah.
I still liked Your Name better in terms of
Well, that was kind of bittersweet a little bit too.
that was that's what I mean. Like that movie was really bittersweet too, except the end felt happy, and there were moments like the high moments in that movie weren't dragged down by this kind of overarching dread in the same way. Because it's like the whole time you were watching this movie, like you were just waiting for the bad stuff to happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And ultimately the movie was sort of about this other character from the perspective of this, like, not immortal, but like long-lived character. So it was kind of interesting. I don't know. Pacing in Japanese films is very interesting compared to Western films, and I always seem to go back to this whenever I see like a full-length animated film. Like, it doesn't have like a traditional 3-act structure. It just it doesn't even really have a structure. Just a bunch of things happen. I don't know. It's really interesting.
I was gonna be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I mean, Deep Red. Oh wait, no, that's just how Sion Sono does his movies. It's like, oh yeah, the first hour of the movie happened, and the title dropped.
Because you saw Your Name, and that didn't have a strong structure to it either. That was like another movie that was very like, this stuff is happening. No, this stuff is happening.
Yeah. Well, it
had like,
it didn't have like a 3-act structure. It had like
it's like a 5-act structure almost.
Yeah,
it was
It was like it's
that one had more structure. It was just longer or something. I don't know. It was more compartmentalized.
It was the same thing. Like it was like movies like Lady Bird. It was one of those.
Well,
it had stuff going on that because Lady Bird didn't have like a 3-act structure. In fact, a lot of like that sort of coming of age films are mostly just about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I wouldn't really classify Your Name as that. But
a coming of age film?
Yeah.
Really?
No, I said I wouldn't classify it as that. You thought that was a coming of age film, Your Name?
A little bit.
I mean, yeah, I see like influences from that, but I would not call it a coming of age film because it doesn't. I don't know. It has aspects of that for sure in it, and there were like personal growth and stuff, and getting older. But I don't know. That didn't seem like what the movie was about to me. The same way that it does in other coming of age films I've seen.
Okay.
Do you disagree with me?
A little bit, yeah. Mostly just because of the fact that like, in Your Name, right? It was very much about like, while also being coming of age, it was sort of shown rather than in more of a incredibly like literal interpretation. It was more like maturity through learning how other people live their lives, right?
Yeah, and that's what I would say.
Other experiences and grow through that. Like,
but that's what I mean. It's not about a character, getting to a point in their lives where they have this realization or whatever. It's more about contrasting two people's very different kinds of lives. So I
no, what I was saying was they each of the characters gain this realization through the contrastion. Contrast. That's not a word, is it?
Contrast.
No, contrast.
The contrast.
Just
Thank you.
contrast.
That there's a much easier, simpler word for the thing that I was trying to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but and I agree that was an aspect of the film. I just don't think that was the point. I guess that wasn't. I don't know. Anyway, Maquia was not a coming of age film.
It was maybe the opposite of that. It was a coming of it is a they come of age film and then they die.
The movie was unexpected in a way in that it jumps. Well, I mean, you might expect this if like you make assumptions about how it would work, but they jump forward in time past points you would think would be more significant. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It also has a subplot which was sort of, I don't know. I don't think the subplot was bad. It was just like
it wasn't the best. It sort of like detracted.
It was there too.
Yeah,
okay. I wouldn't even say
right.
I wouldn't even say it detracted. It was just there too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Which, is fine, I guess.
Yeah.
It added flavor to the. I think maybe the point of the subplot was more like world building.
Okay.
Which is fine. It's just it wasn't as connected as it could have been. And when the subplot and main plot intersect, it doesn't make much of a difference. I don't know. Anyway, Maquia was a good film. I recommend it. I still liked Your Name better. I liked it better than when The Witch's Flower.
Yeah.
But,
I'm excited to see this one because I love me some good animation. Always
animation was good.
High marks. Yeah.
Your Name was probably still had better animation.
Okay.
But I don't know. There were some action scenes in this movie too, which were good.
Okay.
I think Blue Over the Wall had some weird ass animation that I still liked quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever end up seeing that one? Blue Over the Wall?
No, I still haven't. I still haven't. Yeah, no, I still haven't.
I would watch this one before Blue Over the Wall, but Blue Over the Wall was good too. So.
Okay. Cool.
Why don't we head to a break,
Okay.
and then we'll come back and talk about what news there is.
What little there is. Well, San Diego Comic-Con happened, so there's some.
Yeah, you'd think there would be more, right?
Yeah, you'd think, but you know how it is.
How about 5:40?
Okay.
All right, we will see you in a little bit. We've been muted this whole time.
Ah, shit.
Oh my god!
Saine.
I thought I unmuted it.
All right, well,
I remember
You-
thinking to unmute it, and then I.
Yeah. Oh no.
That's fine. It doesn't matter. We just talked about Pokemon Go.
About to talk about how that's okay because I never got to talk about how I hate my brain for like sort of like filling in the blanks for like some words. Like I hear words and then my brain will like think a specific thing. So whenever I hear Pokemon Go, I think Pokemon Go to the polls, and I just die laughing. It's the funniest shit I've ever heard.
If I heard that every time I heard the word Pokemon Go, I would just die. Period.
Yeah, because then you'd have to.
You just throw yourself into the lava. All right, well, I'm done.
Because then you'd have
I'd
to.
throw myself into the ballot box.
Because then you'd have to picture Hillary Clinton's face, and nobody wants that.
Hillary Clinton playing Pokemon Go.
Anyway,
Take out the fucking worthless Gungeon item out of it and go.
So I'm sorry you missed our riveting conversation about Pokemon Go, but I'm just going to recap the news part of this once again. So Pokemon Go lessens the grind by adding lucky Pokemon, which is the longer Pokemon stick in your box. When you trade them, they have a chance to become lucky, which means they require less Stardust to upgrade. Which encourages you to trade, old Pokemon in your account with friends, I guess. Then we talked about some Pokemon Go stuff, and then had a short argument about it, but we're going to move on.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So
it was mostly that they were in this. It was a step in the right direction, but trading is
the next bit of
Still
news is
garbage.
just a release date. Well, sort of a release date. The Fallout 76 beta, we already know that the game will be releasing on November 14th, but the beta, which you will get into if you pre-order,
Start in
it
October.
will be launching in October, and they say that they want to keep the pool small initially and widen it up as it gets closer to release. So hopefully that will include a majority of pre-orders, because that's literally the only reason I pre-ordered the game.
Yeah,
That's
when
not
you were
true at
saying
all.
that-
You pre-ordered the game because you wanted a giant what even was it?
Well,
Power
helmet,
armor helmet?
Power
All right, let me rephrase. That is literally half of the reason that I pre-ordered the game. The other reason being that they made probably 100 of those power armor helmets, and I was lucky enough to get one.
I'd say it was 10% of why you.
Dalsson,
I'd say the power
I
armor.
want the power armor
I'd say
helmet!
the power armor helmet was 90% of the reason
It
why
was
you
a
pre-ordered
majority
that.
of it.
Dalsson, I'm gonna say this is gonna end up being like Path of Exile, in that you're gonna be sitting there, you're gonna look at who got the shit, and it's gonna be Meme Master 420 is gonna get it before you, and you're gonna be pissed. You just send an angry letter to Grinding Gear Games like, this man has a level 1 ranger and that's it. God damn it.
Yeah, I'm gonna send a letter to Grinding Gear Games saying, Grinding Gear Games, fucking let me into the beta, assholes!
And they're gonna be like, what beta? The fucking Fallout one. What? The Fallout one, you motherfuckers!
So anyway, Nintendo sues operator of ROM sites over video game piracy. So they sued LoveRoms.com and LoveRetro.com. I actually had a different article with more information on it than this. One of them is closed for the foreseeable future. I believe Love Retro is that one, and Love ROM has removed all Nintendo games, and they also have to pay fines.
Yes.
Wow.
Big
They
fines,
did a similar thing
which is
with,
not listed here, but
it wasn't Cool ROM. What was the other
It
one?
says
that was?
Nintendo is seeking damages of up to $150,000
Okay,
for
there it
each
is.
pirated game.
what kind of idiot puts that in the deck but not in the article?
I don't know.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, what the fuck?
Anyway, well,
Yeah.
I guess people mostly read the headlines in the deck, but they could at least put it in the article too.
Yeah.
Apparently, this man is from Arizona,
Yep.
which is where I'm from. It wasn't me.
Arizona, man. It wasn't you.
It wasn't Saine. Saine doesn't.
It may have been
So
Thel
far
if
as
he
I
lived in
know,
Arizona,
Saine-
but it
I
wasn't.
do not live in Arizona. However, if I was going to do this, of course, I probably would use a proxy that said I lived in Arizona. This
If
man
you
did
were
not.
if you were going to do this, you probably would live in like Denmark or somewhere who doesn't care.
Exactly. I Pirate Bay this shit. I go move to one of those Icelandic countries that are like, American fucking.
You would move to Greenland.
Copyright laws. We don't give a flying shit about that. It's fine with us. You run your Pirate Bay as much as you want.
The
That's how they
lawsuit
do it.
claims the defendants are not casual gamers, but are instead sophisticated parties with extensive knowledge of Nintendo's intellectual property in the video game industry.
What does that have to do with anything?
They aren't suing children, I guess. Unlike Epic.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's what that has to do with it.
So apparently the lawsuit's claiming that they were making profit off of this by having donations.
Oh, right, yeah.
Donations to the
So
website.
if they weren't making profit off of it, would it have been different? Because that's still illegal.
No,
too.
because
probably
the thing about it is, well, that's why they can claim for the monetary damage.
Yeah, that's why they're
Okay.
suing.
And they
necessarily,
could
I don't
still sue
Oh, yeah.
for those damages. The only difference is, when it comes to copyright law, in this case, a lot of times what happens is there are several different pieces of it that you can sort of add up to
Yeah.
to the lawsuit. And
Like,
this
if
is a
anyone's
place. Go ahead.
If anyone's making any money off of it, that's like a big piece that you can be like, they made money off of the thing that we made. This is gonna help our argument, and we can ask for more money.
Yeah, exactly. It helps their argument to say that they made money off of it too. It
Yeah.
wasn't just a local thing, like people dumping their
right.
bombs. It was like, anyway. Yeah, and our last piece of gaming news is Stardew Valley multiplayer gets a PC release date.
Good.
Right now it was kind of in beta, but this is the official release date.
It's essentially an open beta. All you have to do is put in a code.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is August 1st is when it releases.
And it works fucking perfectly, by the way.
Yeah. It works surprisingly well for like a beta for a multiplayer.
We
But
found
then
again,
again, it's like
visual bugs. I
the,
think
the man has like immediately when Stardew Valley came out and like had its release date, he said, I'm gonna add multiplayer to it. It's coming, multiplayer's coming. It's been at least like 2 years. So it's Concerned Ape has been concerned over this multiplayer, and it works just gosh darn really well.
And I sure hope he gets over whatever's concerning him.
There's nothing to be concerned about, Mr. Ape. Your multiplayer is good and it works.
Also, he's made loads of Dosh.
Fuck yes, he has. He's made a shit ton of Dosh. Alright, so should we move into the movie stuff?
I've never been compared to Ozzy Osbourne before.
I don't think it was you, Saine. I think it was Thel. I'm sorry.
Right?
Okay.
I have been compared to Ozzy Osbourne, and you know what? These people are completely wrong. I do
Thel
not
has
look like
compared
Ozzy
himself
Osbourne.
to Ozzy Osbourne.
No. Legitimately, people have compared me to Ozzy Osbourne on the street multiple times. A lot of the people who I work with in like the sound for the church and stuff call me Ozzy Osbourne. But let me tell you, these people are all completely wrong. I do not look like Ozzy Osbourne. I look like the bassist from Rush, motherfuckers. I am much less attractive than Ozzy Osbourne.
I've been described as looking like Slash before, which I can kind of see, but that's kind of funny because my first name is Axel.
Yeah,
That is actually really funny, isn't it? I never thought about that. Your hair's too straight to look like Slash, though. If anything, Thel looks more like Slash.
His is a little wavier, but I have heard that one before.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this James Gunn one last.
Oh, okie dokie. Yeah, that is like kind of the big one, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. First thing, Shazam gets a trailer. So if you don't know what Shazam is, it's a kid who turns into a big man superhero. I'm excited to see dialogue written by a 40-year-old man. It sounds like it was written by a 40-year-old man about a kid. It's gonna be great. Next one. Does anyone have anything to say about Shazam?
Yeah. I haven't actually seen the trailer because I slept in today, but I heard that it was really good. It was a really good teaser.
The trailer does. It does actually kind of look good.
It looks like a weird. It looks like a weird like comedy.
Yeah, I'm overstating the writing is a little bit not super realistic, but I'm comparing it to like Lady Bird and not like the new Teen Titans trailer that looks so bad.
You know what's funny about the Teen Titans Go trailers for me? I'm almost
Go trailers. I'm thinking of something completely different.
Oh, are you?
No, he's talking about the live action movie.
The live action Teen Titans Edgelord trailer.
In which literally the only line in the trailer is Robin saying "fuck Batman."
That's not the only line, because a lot of people are like really don't like how Starfire looks. I hate how Raven looks.
Oh yeah,
There's
Raven is just
inside of me. It's evil.
Well, anyway,
I don't know what to do.
Don't worry, you can control it. Also, Batman sucks.
Fuck Batman.
Well, I haven't seen that yet.
It looks awful.
But have you seen the trailers for Teen Titans Go?
The Teen Titans Go the movie, the worst thing about these trailers is that it looks decent.
No, the funny thing about the trailers is I feel like the trailers are gonna end up being better than the movie. Cause,
I don't know. I don't think so. Like everybody's like, wow, I can't believe this Teen Titans Go movie looks actually good. What? That's so weird.
Well, no, because
I don't think
the trailers. They might have given away the good stuff in the trailers. No, because the rest of it might be trash.
Yeah, the thing is about the trailers, from what I've seen, is they have some really strong jokes in the trailers. But then anytime they're talking about the plot of the movie, I'm like, oh, this is dumb. So just the jokes without the plot might actually be better. I don't know.
I'm a little bit interested in the plot purely as a catalyst to make fun of the whole superhero thing. It's like that would be nice. And it seems like a lot of the jokes, at least in I don't think I've seen like the second trailer.
It felt like a lot of the first trailer jokes were related to the plot.
Yeah. And
but
like the joke in particular that is like the best part of any of the trailers was when Cyborg sees Slade and thinks he's Deadpool and then goes up to and points to the camera. He's like, say something inappropriate.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, that is pretty good.
Yeah.
But that's
he's like, I'm not Deadpool. If anything, Deadpool should say he's not me because I came out first.
That's still kind of like a joke at the like at the expense of superhero movies. Like he's making a joke about the Deadpool movie.
And that's what I'm saying. It's a good joke, and has nothing to do with the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
Well,
so, some of the jokes that I liked did have. I saw the trailer a while ago and I don't remember any of the fucking jokes. But I remember like thinking, wow, this doesn't look like it'll be terrible, but then again, it still might be. So I don't know. This is definitely one of those things. It's like, well, I'm just gonna have to see it to see if it's good or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Yeah. At least this one looks like it has a plot, unlike most of Teen Titans Go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wish they would just bring back the old Teen Titans.
Everyone does.
Everyone does.
And it's so weird. Like, people complain about Teen Titans Go, like, not having a plot and being like, you know, it's a child show that's just for jokes. And then, so they decided to go the exact polar opposite, much too far with this new show, where it is ultra edged 100%. And it's like, no, that's not...
That's so weird.
Know.
Like,
no,
stop. The live action Titans show like looks so weird. It's like they were like, oh, they want Teen Titans to be more adult, and so well, here's what we'll do: we'll make Raven,
it sound like it was written by a 12-year-old.
Make Raven a pussy emo bitch.
I don't think they were trying to make it sound like they were more adults. I think it was like the opposite. They wanted to make it more for kids than ever before.
No, not Teen Titans
we're talking
Go.
about the new live action.
That was talking about the live action show.
Yeah,
I have to see that trailer.
Yeah, it's so bad. Oof. Raven is some lady with black hair and she's got purple highlights and she's wearing like a bathrobe.
Yeah,
and she's talking about
just regular ass like hipster clothes she bought in H&M.
She's talking about the darkness that's inside of her, and Robin's like, "You can control it," and she's like, "Oh, okay." And that's the trailer.
It reads
I don't think that's that out of character for it. I mean, if the delivery was bad, that's one thing, but I don't think.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think "there's a darkness inside me" is something that Raven would never have said.
No, that's
the thing.
Totally, like that was Raven's entire story arc. In the
exactly.
cartoon.
So.
Yeah. It's a little bit between like really bad, horrible, cliched like writing. Like the original Teen Titans did something like interesting where like she couldn't control it, but sort of like she sort of buried it, whereas this is like
and it went into like her daddy issues and shit.
Well, initially she buried it, but like
this problem seems more like she isn't actually like, if you didn't know it was Raven, you wouldn't think she was actually a superhero with actual like crazy void darkness powers. You would think she was just some edgy teenager who's cutting herself in her spare time.
It sounds like she has problems that Darkness Dementia Raven Way might have.
Yeah.
Well,
so like
I haven't seen the trailer, so I'm not gonna prejudge it. But I just think that there is a lot of problems that could be in editing. There's a lot of problems that could be in delivery.
I'm not gonna say that the delivery was good. It was
but from what you guys are saying, I don't think that it's I don't know. It's not that weird if they focus on that in a movie about Teen Titans.
Right.
So,
well, it's not a movie. I think it's a Netflix show or something. It's like a series.
It's not a Netflix. It's like a CW show, sort of like the Gotham and stuff like that.
That actually makes me more interested in it because the CW shows have been all pretty good. Like almost all of the CW shows have been like the best DC adaptations of shit since Dark Knight.
Fair enough.
Right. So. Arrow is really good in particular.
That said, though, the trailer was awful.
Yeah.
I'll look at it. We'll see. The trailers have always been kind of bad for those CW shows, though, I think.
Oof.
So, I don't know. Maybe I'll give the series a shot, because I do like the Teen Titans, and I do like the CW show, so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's move on, now.
The next one is Steven Universe gets a movie, this is like an actual news and stuff we didn't know. It's going to get a movie, which is neat.
It's like unexpected.
Yeah, and also the episode that was teased. Like, I don't know. Did we talk about it on the podcast where like it's kind of weird that they had a episode like teaser so quickly after like a season ender. The episode was teased was premiered there, so you can watch it now.
Of course it was.
Well, I didn't think that was a what was that a series finale? I never know
It
when.
was not a series finale.
I
It was
never-
No,
a
not a
season
series. It
finale.
was a season finale.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah,
And then they
season
teased
finale.
the
I
first
never know
episode.
when Steven Universe has any kind of finale because
Yeah.
the way that the Steven bombs work is like I don't feel like it's ever
Yeah, it's like
ongoing. So there's no
Yeah.
finale in my mind anyway.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, it's getting a movie. It's a TV movie, I guess. The next thing,
It's a
Invader
TV.
Zim.
It's a direct-to-TV movie.
I think I have no idea. I have
Yeah, I think so.
absolutely no idea. It might
Yeah,
be, is what I was saying.
Invader Zim Enter the Florpus. Basically,
However, is
it's exactly the same.
yeah, Invader Zim hasn't changed. Yonan Vasquez hasn't really changed either. That's not surprising. So yeah, it's the same stuff which Invader Zim fans are going to be super hyped
You know
about.
what's-
It is
What's
pronounced.
funny
It
is-
is pronounced Jonan, by the way.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what's
because-
funny is before this was announced at San Diego Comic-Con, I heard Jonan Vasquez talking a lot. I think I
I
didn't
thought we
hear him
already
on
knew-
Twitter.
I thought we
I
already
heard
knew
him-
this. I don't think it was. This is
Right.
the
We
first
already did.
trailer, but I think we already knew that this movie was coming.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think it's a movie. I think it's a new season. No,
No,
it's,
it's a
movie.
90-minute
It's a
special.
movie, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but it's like weird because like before I heard about this, I heard just a lot of people saying that Jonan Vasquez was talking on Twitter about like how much he enjoyed making Invader Zim, but he hated everything else about Invader Zim other than making it. And then he makes it a movie.
yeah.
I think the thing about Invader Zim with him is a lot about he didn't like the process of working with Nickelodeon, but he loved
That's-
the end result.
Yeah.
He actually loved the series as it came
Yeah.
out, and he liked how it, like the final product of it, but the getting there was a pain in his ass.
Yeah.
So I think that ultimately, being the kind of like, you know, edgy, starving artist kind of guy he is, I don't think that. I think he would be willing to tolerate some of the bullshit from Nickelodeon because he actually does love what he does.
Yeah.
So
Right.
And not only that, but he also
I think the other
hates
thing
the
he-
fan
like,
base.
Yeah, he hated the fan base, just like
Yeah, the
everybody.
fan base
I
for
think that's
a long
overplayed.
time.
I think him hating the fan base is overplayed. He
think
hates
he hates
drawing
certain
Gur.
aspects.
He hates drawing Gur.
Yeah.
It's not that he hates Invader Zim and its fan base. He hates that he has drawn millions of pictures of Gur, and it's gotten to the point where I saw this on his Twitter once. He said, rather than just drawing things for people anymore, he says, why don't you draw what you want me to draw and I'll draw it. And so people will have like fucked up non-artist versions of like a picture of Gur, and then he'll just turn that into like a broken, like messed up version of like Gur. So
You know what I think may have been, like, I don't remember a lot of Invader Zim. I think you made me watch one episode that you considered like the best episode recently.
yeah.
Oh,
But-
that was definitely the best episode.
But you know, Zim was such an absolute fucking moron, and so was
Oh, yeah.
literally every other character in the entire show.
Except
I think
Gaz.
that except Gaz, she was also kind of a moron, but
she
she
was
was
a moron. She
that-
just had different priorities.
Oh yeah, exactly. So like I think that honestly Invader Zim may have actually been improved if Zim had gotten a not broken Sur unit. Like he just had this actual for real serious robot and
No. See, we
Remember,
were talking
he
about
was
this.
given that because the tallest fucking hated him.
We
yeah,
we were
sure.
even talking about this when we were watching Invader Zim. Like it's not that the wall so random humor in the show is bad. It's actually delivered pretty well. The problem
Yeah.
with it is how people have latched onto it and how quotable a lot of it has
yeah,
become.
but that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that like Gur is intrinsically bad because he's lol so random. I'm saying that everyone else is such a moron and so lol so random anyway that if Zim had like just a robot straight man who like carried out everything perfectly, but Zim's plans were just so fucking stupid and dumb that everything.
I don't
being
think that would
perfect
have
and plans
improved
didn't
the
work.
series. I think the series is almost perfect in what it's trying to do, right?
That's fair. That's fair.
like
I think it maybe improve the series was wrong. Maybe like an interesting take.
Maybe.
should have
I don't
said,
know.
something like that.
well they kind of had that with the female
yeah,
Zim.
Gaz.
no,
Gaz is
no.
Tack.
Gaz's Dib's sister.
Tack, thank you.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah, but Tack was also competent herself. So
Yeah, so it was an interesting foil.
Yeah.
uh,
To Zim.
and Dib, because Dib and Zim were both trying to fight tag.
and
you know,
Dib is arguably more of a moron than Zim.
so some of the funny things about Joan and Vasquez working with Nickelodeon, there's a notable one of the things. There are a couple of things he really remembers arguing with Nickelodeon about. He really, really wanted to kill off Dib and replace him, but he was not allowed to kill Dib.
Yeah.
He really wanted to have Gaz drive a motorcycle in one episode. Was not allowed.
Why?
I believe it was that episode where they get trapped in the mall, and instead they just have her teleport around like a fucking ghost or something.
Fair enough.
But yeah, she was supposed to drive a motorcycle, and they just cut that part out. So that I don't know.
Not being allowed to
Invader
kill
Zim.
Dib, I understand, but why not being allowed to have Gaz drive a motorcycle? Like, what's the problem with that?
You know,
We don't want to encourage children to drive.
Probably because she was a child, and she probably wouldn't wear a helmet.
You
Okay.
know, I'm thinking about this. We are getting an Invader Zim movie back on Nickelodeon, and also Dan Schneider is no longer at Nickelodeon. Coincidence? Probably.
Okay.
To be fair, Invader Zim is one of the few shows where the feet are so improminent they are like lines. They're single
And
lines.
that's why it was canceled.
And that's
Thank you for
that's
coming to
why
my
it was-
TED Talk.
Oh my god.
In other Nickelodeon
news.
shows risen
Oh,
from
yeah.
the grave,
Oh, yeah.
there's a Rugrats relaunch set with Nickelodeon series Paramount movie. What?
And
A
Paramount movie is
relaunch as
going
in
to
as
be
in a series?
This is a really bad headline. Apparently
Paramount movie.
there's going to
It's
be
going
a
to
new
have
animated series revival and with a
Yeah.
26 episode order. And they're going to start with a Paramount film.
Yeah, which is going to be half CGI, half not CGI, and that sounds like kind of the worst thing.
That-
But
I
Nice.
think that's okay. I feel like Rugrats lends itself to that half CGI because they already look like fucking aliens.
well, yeah, and imagine this: imagine Klasky Chupo art in fucking CGI. Yeah.
I don't know. That would be cool if it was all real monsters, though.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Um,
But I don't know, like I feel like the babies aside from Chucky are already drawn kind of to look uncanny valley, so like
Whenever
CGI
I
might
think of Klasky Chupo and like how weird their art style is, I always think of Rugrats.
I do
They're
too.
always the one that's like Klasky Chupo. Oh yeah, Rugrats and Duckman, I guess that too.
well, they're the most probably notable Class B Kupso.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. The funny thing about Rugrats was like they intended the series to go on for fucking ever, but what ended
Yeah.
up happening was they did that all grown up special where they like fast forwarded into adults, and that was popular. And I actually remembering it and thinking it was good. Then they created a series called All Grown Up, which was terrible.
Yeah.
Like there was like an adult teen series that was like, or not adult, but a
It was-
teenager
yeah.
series. But
Yeah.
the writing got worse. The writing was significantly worse than it was on the
Oh,
mainline
it was
Rugrats.
horrendous.
Oh yeah.
And
was really
it
bad.
it did so poorly that it killed Rugrats, and it's like that's why Rugrats ended. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It's like, why did Tommy still carry around a screwdriver in his underwear when he was like 14? Who knows? Because fuck you, that's why.
I don't know. I could see someone carrying a screwdriver in their fucking pocket, but
Yeah, but like, I mean, if you play in Space Station 13, that's super useful. You can break into doors.
Yeah, and some wire cutters.
Yeah.
I want to see
that-
Tommy Pickles with some wire cutters.
Like
He's just
yellow. He's running around with a gray suit, yellow gloves on, with a
are
screwdriver.
you telling
and a
me he's
fucking-
not the kind of person to carry around like a small toolkit in his like back pocket? at all
He
times?
absolutely would be when he grows
Yeah.
up. Like, definitely. But like, just a single screwdriver, like,
They kept the screwdriver because it was like
it was his thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I could see him having a whole, like, upgrading to a whole toolkit, so.
Yeah.
So let's move on to our most fun news of the week. James Gunn is fired from Guardians of the Galaxies over offensive tweets that he made in 2009 and 2010.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Okay, before we start, did we talk about Roseanne on this? Or did we skip that entirely?
We did not.
We did not talk about it.
Okay.
You guys wouldn't let me talk about my stupid Twitter shit that some Guild Wars dev got fired over.
I thought we did talk about that.
No,
we didn't.
I basically said
we don't want to talk about stupid Twitter shit.
Well, I didn't want to talk about Twitter.
I feel like that was Guild Wars, and we've talked about Guardians of the Galaxy. There was actually something I wanted to say about this. It's kind of surprising that Disney would fire him now for this, because when they hired him, they vetted him and looked at his resume. You know where he got his start? Fucking Trauma! This man worked at Trauma! Did you guys see Lloyd Kaufman on the set of fucking Guardians of the Galaxy? Now, he was there because that's where he started. That's like, if you don't know what Trauma is, they're the people who created the Toxic Avenger, Class of Nukem High, and Tromeo and Juliet, and miscellaneous other super edgy movies in the 80s that exist to be super edgy. And that's where this man got his start. He then went on to make a movie that was a classic monster movie, that was like just a big show for the practical effects. And then after that, he made another superhero movie where Dwight from The Office gets raped by Ellen Page. Disney, you knew about this.
Let's back up a second and actually talk about what the controversy is.
Okay, yeah. So what happened was he, back in 2009 and 2010, what he did was he made a bunch of like sort of like tweets that again, like, this is like a lot of people have like interpretations of this. He claims they were a joke. A lot of people feel like they couldn't be a joke. They were all like stuff like, it sure is great. Pedophilia sure is great.
They were jokes, but they were very much about pedophilia.
They were very, they were very
like they weren't funny jokes. They were just like edgy jokes.
Edgy, dark humor, like super edgy jokes. Like, you remember that big edgy like thing in like the late 2000s?
Not like not like a my grandpa died in the Holocaust when he fell out of his guard tower. That's a joke.
They were like dead baby jokes, but where you rape the dead baby in the end.
Yeah, it's like that's not like humor. That's just being edgy for the sake of being edgy
just being
calling
edgy,
it a joke.
Yeah, and it's like and what I was saying, like with Trauma, that's what this man's career existed. That's how he existed before he got to Marvel. So this doesn't surprise him. Being fired surprises me a little, but him making these kinds of jokes surprises me 0%.
Okay.
So we never talked about this when Roseanne came up, because there was no reason to talk about Roseanne, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
whereas Guardians of the Galaxy is a little bit different.
Right.
It's something that we do talk about a lot.
People just really shouldn't fucking use Twitter, first of all.
Second
of all, pulling something from 10 years ago, no matter how bad it is, seems unfair.
Yeah, it does. I feel the same way. Like, it seems unfair because it's not like they didn't even say it while working for you. If you were going to fire them over this, you should have looked into them harder.
Secondly,
that's the thing. What I'm saying is that they did. I'm certain they did, and I don't know why they did now. Because I don't think, like, I wouldn't have heard about these tweets if it weren't for this.
Secondly, there's a difference between...
You made the first one as much as is...
I feel
I
like
opened a CNN article and it started playing an audio video, or auto video. Yeah, like, the problem with these kind of things is these are comedians and they're trying to be funny, and a lot of comedians are trying to be provocative and provoke a response, and a lot of times it's a gross, disgusting joke.
Eddie Murphy did a fucking Disney movie.
Yeah,
well, like, have you
Gilbert Gottfried was in a lot of Disney movies, and that man, I think he's the one who popularized the Aristocrats.
The Aristocrats, yeah, like
so. It's just like it's obvious that James Gunn doesn't actually think these things. It was obviously a joke.
It's obvious that James Gunn isn't jizzing all over children, even though that's what his tweet said. It was there to make a joke.
Even the Roseanne situation, it was a very bad joke, a very disgusting, indefensible joke. But like I don't. She apologized. I don't think it.
Go listen to 2 hours of stand-up comedy from literally anybody, and then go and try and find a movie that they did for Disney. You probably will find one.
So, and it's like, you can, with any of these comedians, you can pull up the worst kind of shit from any of them. And like, there's like, I was trying to find the specific tweets that they were talking about for James Gunn. I still can't find them, but I'm finding all these articles about like, well, you fired James Gunn, but not this guy who said something horrible. And it's just like, this is the kind of shit that happens. Like, there's a difference.
Like, it's either going to create a cascade effect.
There's a difference.
Where they just fire everybody.
There's a difference between like actually being racist and making jokes about it. I don't know. Like, I feel like the Roseanne thing was a little bit more understandable because of the kind of joke she made. But like with this is totally obviously out of context. I've thought about it a lot, and I'm trying not to be like have double standards for people I like versus people I don't, but like I really think that this is kind of a different situation.
Yeah. I completely agree, because usually like with the Roseanne thing I was like, yeah, that's okay. You probably should have. But this is like purely based on like the man's career. This was the man's livelihood at one point, was making offensive jokes. Especially like when Disney knew about this shit.
Yeah, it's like I said
mostly weird. Like I'm just a little bit confused as to why Disney now decided to do it rather than like.
Well, the reason why is because the outrage happened now.
I suppose
someone who wanted to snipe at Disney in particular dug out these old tweets and said, "Hey, look, James Gunn is still working here. You fired Roseanne, and here's James Gunn saying really inappropriate things," and that's why.
Yeah, but and that is true.
I don't know if it was because of Roseanne, but it's the same. It's Twitter trolls digging up old shit.
Yeah. And that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Like, okay, have either of you ever heard any of Eddie Murphy's stand-up?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like horrible.
Well, any of these people you talk about, like.
Yeah, exactly. And he did
the Full House guy, of course.
And he did the Haunted Mansion, and he, the Haunted Mansion is a nice wholesome family movie, and he did all the Shrek movies as Don. It's a bad wholesome, but as far as wholesomeness goes,
as far as wholesomeness goes,
And then he did all the Shrek movies, and he was perfectly wholesome character. Like there were a couple of little dirty joke, in Shrek, but like it wasn't. It's like your performance in these movies matters. And it's not like he put dead baby jokes in a script for Guardian of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
and this was 2010, 2011, that's 8 years ago. He's probably matured as a person since then.
Got
or at least decided decided at least not to make jokes like that when he was working with
for Disney.
But because they're digging up jokes from before he worked at Disney. Like that's
and I was a pretty fucking like 10 years ago, I was a different person. I was 14. I was browsing B all the time on 4chan. What do you want?
And so was James Gunn. He was also
So was James Gunn.
He wasn't physically 14, but
it's like people change over time, and it's like what Hulk Hogan said the N-word in a phone conversation. Like
I remember one of his tweets was literally "not racist no more, brother."
When he was 20. Or something, and they fired him from the WWE for that. It's like these weird situations.
They removed his thing, but they reinstated it.
So long ago, and it's like if you are acting as a representative of the company when you say things like this, for example, attacking your fans for trying to have an insightful conversation on Twitter, that's one thing to get fired over. But if somebody goes and digs up things from before your career even really started, why should that affect you after your career has kicked off? You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
And again, well, here and the thing about like Hulk Hogan and stuff, all of that stuff, like you were saying, it's like he didn't write that into Guardians of the Galaxy, and Hulk Hogan didn't put that into like his performance in the WWE, and like Roseanne didn't put that into her performance in the thing. The thing about James Gunn is when he made these tweets, right? He was writing that kind of joke into his movies. Yeah.
And as a result, Disney absolutely knew about this.
In fact, they hired him because he had made a slightly profitable indie superhero movie where Dwight Schrute got tentacle raped by Toilet Monster, and it got Jesus Man tentacle raped him and put the idea he should be a superhero.
Well, here's another thing too. Like, Disney knew that Roseanne had made some like right-wing comments that are pretty like out there too, before they hired her for Roseanne. And it wasn't until she said something that got her in trouble that that they fired her. So like they're willing to forgive the past in some situations, but not others, I guess. Right. It's just I see from Disney's perspective, I can see how they are trying not to look like politically one side or the other. You know, they're trying to say, okay, this is offensive, take care of it. This is offensive, take care of it. There's this outrage and this outrage. Disney doesn't care. They just are trying to like, oh, there's outrage for this person, gone. Outrage for the gone. It's
that's the thing, because like when I'm saying all of this and stuff, the truth is you gotta look at it like a corporation, which is why a lot of people say, you know, whenever people complain about not enough minorities in movies, it's like, it's absolutely true. There are not nearly enough minorities in movies, but it's not because these big Hollywood corporations dislike minorities. It's because they don't give a shit. They don't think that they're profitable. And that's what this is. It's like they're afraid that this man will stop being profitable or someone will boycott the movie because of the fact that they saw this tweets and that they will lose profit. And that's
although in reality,
the guy, I don't remember his name. The guy who did Black Panther, everybody wants to hire him because that movie was great, and so he's profitable. And that's the reason. That's the reason. That's the only reason they want to hire him, because he's profitable. Yeah, it has nothing to do with race, religion, or creed.
Yeah.
And what's the guy from Equalizer 2 that just came out? Denzel Washington, like he's been a profitable black man in movies forever. So is Samuel L. Jackson. Like, it's not that minorities don't sell movies. It's
Asian
that
man, though,
it's that thing. Well, Jackie Chan.
Oh yeah, all right, fair enough.
But it's just that, like, it's a chicken or the egg problem, and movie theaters or movie companies aren't necessarily trying to be bad. It's just like they want to put popular actors in their big films, and there aren't as many popular minorities, so they don't make big films with popular minority. You know, it's like I don't know. It's a chicken or the egg problem, because it's like if they don't give people a chance, then they won't become popular.
And roles.
So.
It's the same thing as like the female writers thing. Like Wonder Woman got really popular, and I'm sure that's helpful. But it's probably not going to be helpful to female writers specifically. It's going to be helpful to that female writer.
To Gal Gadot and the
and specifically the female director for that movie.
Director, right? Not writer, director. That's what I meant.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too. I just think that in reality, what's actually the case is if they just ignored the controversy with Roseanne, it would have gone away. If they just ignored the controversy with James Gunn, it would have gone away. Really, they should just not care about Twitter drama.
Hulk Hogan did go away.
Yeah. And I don't know about the controversy with Roseanne. Not necessarily really, because I don't think it would have gone away, but more so that I don't know if there was like enough interest built up in Roseanne to like it was already not having like that big grab. But then with this, it's sort of plummeted.
Dude, what are you talking about? That Roseanne series was one of the most popular shows to come out in years.
Yeah,
it's straight up. Yeah, it was popular everywhere except California and the others, and like basically Middle America loved the shit out of that movie or out of that series. So it was super popular by virtue of being popular everywhere but California, essentially.
Yeah, well, California and probably New York.
Yeah, because those are the two like liberal bastion sides. So like that series actually did do super well, and they canceled their like a #1 show. So let's not pretend that they canceled a bad, like poorly performing show. They canceled a #1 performing show.
Yeah.
And James Gunn, like that, they fired a like #1
guy who
directed some of the best Marvel movies. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You know, Roseanne was so popular that after Roseanne got fired, they're trying to remake the series called The Conners with just all of the people except Roseanne. Like, that's how popular Roseanne was.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Whether or not that goes off the ground or works, whether or not that gets off the ground or works is to be seen. But they're definitely like trying to make The Conners. So
I mean, if it gets John Goodman paid, that's great. I love him.
Speaking of sitcoms,
I don't
what
want
about Bob Saget?
Yeah,
he was on the most wholesome
exactly.
fucking television sitcom ever,
and he is purely the exact opposite of not only his character in that, the tone of his show. He is just the raunchiest comedian who purely
he is incredibly raunchy. He actually he's gotten in a lot of trouble too.
Yeah,
my mom liked Full House, and we rented Farce of the Penguins one time, and when I was like 8, and she was like, "What? Oh my God, Garrett, go to your room." I was like, "Who is this? This isn't Bob Saget. Where's Danny?"
This one though, like, I think part of the reason why this feels so dirty is the Roseanne situation was like Roseanne said something currently, and people reacted to it.
And it was
this one is James Gunn was targeted by people who have right-wing leanings because of statements he made about Donald Trump and stuff. So they dug something up from 10 years ago to bash him over the head with. Like that's so whether or not you support Donald Trump doesn't matter. It's just like you shouldn't fucking have political hit jobs for anyone. Just to ruin his career just cuz.
It's this weird like dichotomy of Roseanne said something on Twitter that was current and was sort of an outside thing that she didn't put into her work, but it sort of like had people look at her in a different way, and they kind of didn't like that. Whereas this is stuff from previous that James Gunn did put into his work, and it's like, this is who James Gunn is and who he was.
Yeah, that everybody knew about, including the people who hired him.
Yeah. So,
that's not necessarily true because Twitter is like a black box sometimes. You put shit in it and then pull out the weapons to hurt people with. People just shouldn't use Twitter.
What I was saying is that these movies represented those kinds of jokes, not exactly the same thing, but.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I think this whole situation is fucking stupid and disappointing.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think Roseanne should have been fired either, but that one was more understandable to me anyway.
And if it was like a more legitimate thing, even though I do kind of like James Gunn and I like his movies, and I'm pretty sure he's still probably going to be able to get work.
Oh yeah, he'll be fine
or something. Yeah. But so as far as that goes, it doesn't really matter. Even if it was more like a legitimate reason, then I would be like, yeah, okay, I could see fire.
Yeah, if he had gone onto fucking the Guardians of the Galaxy official Twitter and made a dead baby joke saying Rocket Raccoon says this.
It wasn't a dead baby joke. It was
it wasn't a dead baby joke.
It was
here, I'll find it. Like whatever. It's I know he said something about the best part about being raped is when you're not being raped anymore. And stuff like that.
There's another one, it's like about NAMBLA. He made a joke about I finally fit in when I went to NAMBLA or something like that.
Yeah. It's like Rocket Raccoon would be a proud member of NAMBLA. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like he said that, and if he had, I could understand it way more.
Well, it doesn't matter because like that was so long ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just fuck. It's stupid. But this is what Hollywood is turning into right now. It's like imploding right now.
Hollywood has a lot of problems, but the truth is there are a lot of there is like a lot of really, really bad stuff in Hollywood, and Hollywood is desperately attempting to deal with it in ways that are going to either destroy it because all of the bad stuff is so entrenched that they have to get rid of some other stuff to get rid of all of the bad stuff, or they get rid of all of the bad stuff and they get rid of a lot of the people who make it, and it's basically not even Hollywood right now.
Well, it's just shitty. It's just shitty because, like, the way that Twitter has influenced Hollywood has just been really weird. Like, first, you know, the Me Too movement thing, right? There has been a lot of good things that have come out of it, like the Weinstein stuff being brought up and stuff. So, absolutely, the Me Too movement has had positive effects. But it's gotten to the point where people are picking up the Me Too hashtag like a weapon and stabbing each other with it. People who don't deserve it. We talked about Morgan Freeman a while ago, and that's like another situation where a bunch of people are saying he's like sexually harassing people and stuff, and it's like the number, like the difference in like stakes that we're talking about, people being raped by a dude for like positions of power and stuff versus someone saying you have a nice dress and people feeling uncomfortable about it. Like, it's just people are using it to hurt anybody they can with it now, and it's just getting gross. It's getting grosser and grosser by the minute, and it devalues all of the good things.
That was what I was going to say. Whenever you use something like that as a weapon or a defense from something that is not super legitimate, it delegitimizes real issues, because people will look at like the Me Too movement hashtag, or hypothetically, and be like, oh, you're saying hashtag Me Too because Morgan Freeman said you have a nice dress? Oh, the whole hashtag must be wrong, when it's not. It's like people were actually raped and they were using this to tell their story, and like that is a good thing. But
what is it? The House of Cards guy, Kevin Spacey, that stuff too. Like, Kevin Spacey. There are a lot of fucking
people using it as like either a shield or a straight up weapon, like delegitimizes real problems that people have and try to use this to get their actual story out there.
Yeah, it's just gross. And this is Twitter. This is Twitter in a nutshell. Like, people just don't know how to use Twitter. People are not used to using the internet. Maybe in 10 years we'll be in better shape because people have finally learned.
Oh yeah, that's the weird thing about, one of the things that I hear a lot about, like, the internet. It's like, oh, you can't go on the internet. I don't know if I want my kids going on the internet because they'll believe a bunch of bullshit. If there's one thing that being on the internet for a long time will teach anyone,
it's everything's bullshit.
How to separate the bullshit from what is true.
Exactly.
By just assuming everything is bullshit, because it probably is.
Just basically assuming everything is bullshit. But the thing is, the internet has a lot of shit a lot of resources that can point out whether or not something is or isn't bullshit if you look it up.
Is CaliforniaOnFire.com. If it ever says no, it's bullshit.
But yeah, that's yeah, and that is a thing. A lot of people do not know like how to use the internet. A lot of people go on crazy rants that they shouldn't, that just make them look bad, and then they get fired from stuff. And I sit there like, how did you do that? How did you not see this coming?
I feel like a lot of the mistakes that people are making are mistakes that we made on anonymous message boards 10 years ago.
Yeah, sure.
So that's why I'm thinking,
and nobody could trace it back to us, and especially like, and we knew even at that point, oh, we probably shouldn't use our real names because I'm gonna write some terrible ass fan fiction. I don't ever want drawn back to me. I don't want people that, I'm out
or even more like I don't want people to find where I live by looking up my real name and shit. Like, just basic stuff like that. Like, the fact that people are showing their real names to everybody on the internet is like, no, you don't do that.
It's like, I don't understand. Like, I think I said my first name earlier. I was like, Garrett, what? It's like, I don't care if somebody knows my first name, but nobody's going to be able to look me up with my first name. Everybody's named Garrett. Fucking, like.
Well, eventually, if we get popular enough, it'll be tied back to it eventually. But...
Sure. But like, did they not go through their like 3rd grade and 4th grade and 5th grade and 11th grade and 12th grade and fucking college classes that all said, don't fucking give out personal information on the internet, assholes? That was the entire summary of everything that I learned in the entirety of my high school career.
Yeah,
don't
and then
give out
Facebook
your
came out.
information, assholes.
And then Facebook came out, basically. I'm gonna be entirely real because I realized that I put Thel on those fan fictions. I had some badass fan fictions out there. By badass, I mean they're bad and ass. So if you guys drag that up and be like, hey, you have shitty fan fictions that are fucking terrible. I know. Man, I know. Don't I know it? They were published. It was some of the first ones on that particular website.
Anyway, let's move on.
You mean
let's not go down that. Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
They don't have any like weird fetishy stuff, so I'm safe for that. But they are incredibly cringy.
Calling you out on that shit.
We need to change the subject.
Shitty fucking.
I don't want to go down this rabbit hole anymore.
Let's not. Okay.
I think I'm at the most.
Thank you, Saine, for saving us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's why I see.
Okay. So, yeah. Anyway, I wish that people would not stop using this hashtag like a cudgel, and people really need to learn how to use the internet because and just like, man,
it's so weird because you have like, I know for a fact, like when I was in high school fucking 10 years ago, we were having like internet safety seminars. I know now that the internet is the biggest fucking thing in the planet, I know they're having internet safety seminars. People just ignore them.
Yeah.
And I always ignore them too because I already
knew personal information on Facebook, so you know exactly where they eat, where they work, where they live. Like,
well, and not only that, like that's even just like the like knowing where you are. A lot of them focused on like knowing where you are because someone could show up to your house and beat the shit out of you or something. But the thing is, it's more like conduct on the internet. Like learn how to use the internet so you don't look like a giant cock slab constantly, because if you're going to use the internet to just like unfilter your brain, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, use some kind of anonymous.
Do it in person.
Yeah, well,
if you're gonna be a dickbag, at least if you do it in person, then it like that person might not end up being whether or not you get a job. The problem with the internet is it never goes away.
Yeah. Like if I were to say something hypothetically, if I were to say something racist to you two, and then you guys didn't like it, and you went to my boss and said, this guy said something racist and I didn't like it, my boss would be like, well, he's never said anything racist around here. What are you talking about? You're making shit up. Yeah. But if I said it on Twitter, then my boss would be like, holy shit, this guy's a racist.
Racist shit. But yeah, that's the thing. What people think, and the people who are like, and specifically I'm talking about people who are like giant cockslab assholes. Straight fucking cockslab assholes. They will always use like the reason I said it was because it needed to be said, stuff like that. But they forget about the fact that they would never say this if they were at work in the break room with all of the employees
surrounded by
of
their
the
coworkers.
Yeah, they would keep their mouth shut and they wouldn't say it. But when they get on the internet, they feel like they can say it to like, they feel like they're saying it to their buddies sitting around the truck. But in the truth, they're not only saying it to every one of their employee friends who are also employees in the break room, they're saying it to their fucking corporate manager who's never heard of their name until their racist bullshit came up.
Yeah.
And that goes the same for like to that Guild Wars 2 drama you were talking about. Yeah. It's like on Twitter you can't say, hey, you invaded my feed, you don't have the right to talk to me on Twitter. It's like bullshit. But, you were in the fucking in the middle of a public forum saying it to everyone.
Yeah. She was basically, the person was to go through it really quick. This person was basically making an like open discussion, like they posted their thoughts on Twitter, and somebody replied to it and said and made a very like decently thought out post, and then she went off about him like mansplaining stuff to her, not in so many words, but but then like she just basically started attacking everyone who even spoke to her, and she's like, it's the 4th of July, it's my day off, I'm not representing the company right now. And it's like, your name is ArenaNet Jasmine or whatever the fuck her name was. It's like, you're still representing the company. It doesn't matter if it's your day off. You went onto a forum talking about the game that you work for.
And we're essentially harassing your
and we're harassing
your fans.
Yeah, she wasn't the one who was harassed. Like the guy who was talking to her was like, "Well, actually, what you could do is
she just made an argument arguing against what she said.
He dipped out of the conversation really fast.
Yeah,
and then she made like 40 other Twitter posts not directed at anybody about how she felt attacked.
How men were like
it was
telling her what to do, and I don't know. It's just
and it's like it wasn't a criticism of her, it was a criticism of the game, and that's fine. You can criticize people's works.
Well, I can understand how she like took it as like a criticism of her. The problem is, unfortunately, rather than like being like, oh well, okay, because like this was her writing and this was her career, and she probably takes her writing a lot to heart and sort of but problem is she went on a fucking dumbass rant about it on Twitter. Stop that.
Yeah.
Idiots.
Or, say one snippy post and then drop it.
Yeah, like Lamau, I bet you're Lamau,
I think what
I think the real nail in the coffin was that the person she was actively attacking was like one of the huge Guild Wars 2 streamers and YouTubers who like probably got more people into the game than she ever did.
Yeah.
Or she could have just been like, Lamau, you're a game streamer.
Yeah, and then that would have been like, haha, oh, that's funny.
She said something like, oh, look at this guy who doesn't know anything about the industry telling me how to do my job because he's a man.
Just because I'm a
like
woman,
that.
Well, yeah, and rather like she could have done it in this two ways. Like she could have been like, you think you know it? You haven't even worked in the industry, and just like put like a happy face over her like incredibly crying angry face. But instead, she just decided to fucking go
throw a tantrum.
But if she made that exact same post and then just left it there, would have been fine.
It would have been
but
fine.
She went on and on. So it's just, people need to like chill the hell out on Twitter.
Yeah, really.
Anyway, about the James Gunn thing, people need to chill the hell out on Twitter, guys.
Everything.
Yeah,
that was more directly related to the stuff we were talking about than usual.
Politics, entertainment, video games, movies, like they just need to stop.
If you write like an opinion piece article and then summarize it on Twitter to advertise it, that's different. But like just going off about stuff,
attacking people.
It's like you gotta stop attacking.
Here's the thing:
people.
On Twitter, never make anything racist, homophobic, misogynist, any of those ists that'll get you in trouble. Never do any of it.
It's bad.
Never attack anyone.
It will.
Never defend yourself if you're being attacked. Like these always just get you in trouble.
Just fucking let shit go.
Just have nice polite conversations that have no drama.
Y'all remember when it was a Josh Trank after the Fantastic Four trash fire? Remember that Twitter fire?
I don't. Let's just.
It was the exact same shit.
Yeah. Anyway, so
that's about it.
Like I don't. You know what? One last thing on Twitter.
Okay.
By all means, post the picture of your dinner. Talk about your favorite, coffee chains and whatever. Just don't be a jerk.
Yeah, just don't be a jackass.
Yeah, I think that's really what people should take from those. Like, it doesn't really have anything like. I don't know. I don't feel like posting your personal information is too terrible. I mean, eventually you'll probably get doxxed by somebody who's out for the lulz. You probably shouldn't do that. But it's like, it's not like it's going to be horrible. What's going to be horrible is when you ruin your career by saying something provocative.
Yeah.
That's what's going to mess you up.
And if you said something provocative 10 years ago, it shouldn't be held against you. It just shouldn't. Anyway, that's it for this week.
Yeah.
We got a little heavy at the end there, but
as we
sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
We try not to.
Yeah, we try to leave politics out as much as possible, and I don't think this was even necessarily about politics.
Yeah, this was more just Twitter and people being dumb on it.
Yeah, and it affecting the industry. Yeah. So we're going to head out now. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out our Twitch channel.
Check out our Twitter.
Yeah, please follow us on Twitter.
We have nothing there.
You can find out when I'm streaming.
Yeah. You can
I
find out
probably
about
should
streams,
use
but-
Twitter more because it is a powerful tool that might get me in trouble someday. But
problem is, like, I feel like whenever I like do any stuff on like any social media, like even Tumblr, all I am is I just reblog shit on Tumblr. I'm always like, I'm gonna make a bunch of jokes and get like a bunch of followers on Twitter and Tumblr. Nah, I just fucking like look at that. Haha, that's funny. I'm gonna reblog that.
you should at least
Yeah,
post
it's
your
like-
own YouTube videos on Twitter, but or
Yeah,
on Tumblr.
that's
but-
true.
I
If you
do
want,
sometimes, yeah.
if you want to talk to Thel, leave us a comment. If you want to talk to me, you can tweet at me. And if you want to talk to Saine, well, good luck.
You could still tweet at me. I have notifications set up on my phone. I just never, I never get tweets at me. So,
So if anything, that'll work really well.
yeah, it's over here. Information. Anyway, make sure to check out our curator page on Steam.
Steam.
Join our Steam group. Join our Discord. Please, please join our
Please.
Discord. And yeah, remember as always,
Stay beautiful.